Now let's talk about the Transformers agenda, aka they're putting chemicals in the Energon and trying to turn our bots gay.
I've been voting for 64 years. Never really wanted to talk about it very much, but when dozens of former members of the Trump administration are sounding alarms, saying, for God's sake, don't do this again, you have to pay attention. They're telling us something important. These aren't soft people. They're governors, generals, standing up against the leader of the party they spent their lives advocating for. For many of them, this will be the first time they've ever voted for someone who doesn't have an R next to their name, because they know this really matters. The truth is this: Kamala Harris will protect your right to disagree with her about policies or ideas. And then, as we have done for centuries, we'll debate them, we'll work on them together, and we'll move forward. The other guy, he demands unquestioning loyalty, says he wants revenge. I'm Harrison Ford. I've got one vote, same as anyone else, and I'm going to use it to move forward. I'm going to vote for Kamala Harris.
Oh! Sorry, you can't do that.
What the hell, man? How'd you get in here?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, we're banning porn nationwide.
You can't tell me what to do. Get out of my bedroom, you creep!
I won the last election, so it's my decision. I'm just gonna watch and make sure you don't finish illegally.
I'm a MAGA gangster. I'm outside when it comes to Trump. Have you ever been to a rally?
Yeah,
that's number one. I don't know if you book smart or if you're really outside, because I'm outside. Yep. I'm outside. And you basically said MAGAs thrive off of lies. First of all, you ever seen a Trump rally? You don't see all of the unity and love out there?
Nope. I see things saying like deport all the immigrants, and I see more MAGA flags, and I see American flags.
All right, let me ask you this. You support Black Lives Matter?
Not that much.
But Black Lives Matter only when media put it out. That's number one. Trump is bringing a lot of unity and love. You support burning and looting. That's what you support. And it tripped me out how you could support someone that just want the world to just go crazy, burning and looting. And I heard you say something earlier that's crazy. You said you hate America. Talk about that.
I don't think I ever said I hate America.
Yes, you did. And it made me look at you even more.
When did I say hate? In what context?
You said it earlier.
I don't think so. I think I said that I like America. I like America. I don't think MAGA people like America. I don't think you guys have any idea what it means to be American. I don't think you know what American values are. I don't think you know what this country was founded or built upon. And I think you guys are obsessed with a cult leader who is taking the entire Republican Party off of a cliff.
Everything he say he do. Trump is gangster. Remember.
Can you give me one thing you don't like about Trump?
What I don't like about him, I love everything about Trump.
I know, because it's a cult. Thank you.
It's not a cult. I'm
That's a
from.
cult.
No, it's not
That's
a
a cult.
Everything is a cult if you want to think about it.
Okay.
Everything is a cult.
To somebody in a cult, that's probably true. Yeah.
He's someone that's representing, and Kumala, whatever her name is, she out of here. Trump 2024.
All right.
Let's
All right.
go.
The fact that there's so many videos and so many people that are just like, they stole her ass, you know, where's her cakes and shit like that. Like, and then you look, you just think about it for like a second. It's like, wait a second, this show was on for 5 seasons. It's the one image that we're constantly seeing, right? So that's the shot from the show.
So it's not even like her like being sexy or anything. It's her facing down Apocalypse
in a vulnerable spot, to be sure. But yeah, let's see the context in the show.
You're cut out like all the others. You must be exterminated.
So why is it this one shot that's being, you know, used? I did some digging, and I've got right here just kind of like the best shots from the show. If you want to look, you can go look. There's clips on YouTube. You can try to find me a single other shot in the X-Men the Animated Series with her butt looking like this. Because guess what it looks like every other time.
I never thought I'd see this place again. Looks like the doc's doing a little.
It's just like what it looks like in the new image.
Don't get a moonbird. Come
And,
on.
flat butt. Flat butt. Flat butt. Look at that flat butt. Why are we objectifying a fucking cartoon in the first place is really the question.
Yeah, it's weird that like to prove how silly these arguments are that we have to sit here and be like, look, a flat butt on like a fucking cartoon character and just like zoom in.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I recognize how
reason
absurd
for
it was when I was doing it, but yeah.
Yeah. Like there's a reason for it.
Yeah, this X-Men 97 stuff from top to bottom shows like the entirety of the grift, right? Like you've got missing cakes, right? Which is not a thing that matters and shouldn't matter because it's not like she was known for her ass in the show. There's that one shot that's become a meme in the last decade.
Any of you incels, QAnon, 4chan, Snyder Cut motherfuckers want to get on the line now? Anybody?
Oh, somebody, please! They got the children!
The only way that you can really stop this kind of thing is to arouse public opinion. It's very upsetting. It has a bad moral effect.
Forced adversity.
Ask yourself, what's more terrifying, fear or the frightened?
The facts of history and the aggressive impulses of an evil empire.
Bad, B-A-D-D, bothered about Dungeons and Dragons.
Up yours, woke moralists.
Socialism has spread the shadow of human regimentation over most of the nations of the earth.
And they're pushing identity politics with this. They 100% are.
How do you think homosexuals reveal themselves?
And the shadow is encroaching upon our own liberty.
I think there ought to be a law against them. Tonight I'm going to show you why.
We do got to bring back FAP news. Yeah. Hello, hello. Welcome to FAP. Am I audible? Is this visible? Are you able to see what's about to happen here? Oh my God, what is happening? What is going on? Oh God damn it. Who did this? Who did this? I swear I did not make that edit. I simply added it to the prefab. So I'm sorry about that, but not really at all. Yeah, hey, welcome to the Fapness. This is going to be the final Forced Adversity podcast on a Sunday for now. Hopefully somebody, I don't know, maybe somebody cared enough to crap their pants just now or go, or I bet it was more like a collective meh. Whatever. How's everybody doing? It doesn't matter. I don't care how you're doing. I care how these people are doing. Morgan.
Hey, how's it going, folks?
Bob. And I'm just joking. I actually do care about how everybody that's watching is doing. I really do. How's everybody doing? Y'all doing all right?
I'm well, my roof exploded, but you know.
What the fuck? What?
Explode.
What?
And one of our awnings fell off of our house just like not that long ago.
What? How much of a roof is that destroyed? Like
not much.
Okay.
Hopefully. Good. We'll find out tomorrow, or if it rains into the front of the house.
So you're being a little bit dramatic there with the
it's a little bit of hyperbole, but
okay.
It sounded like an explosion. It's storming here pretty good, and so the wind just ripped it off.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
So Bob, did you notice your reward in the intro?
Yes, I did. It's so flattering to be finally included on the very last installment. It's I feel like I've achieved Sunday. My final form.
It's the last Sunday installment.
It's the last Sunday.
Yes.
But yeah, because you did the thing that I didn't completely forget. I just didn't remember to do it today, which is when I planned to do it. But so yeah, you won the award. Actually, this is already done whenever you I saw that, so it kind of worked out.
Well, now you're revealing the secrets, Dan. You can't just tell him he got a reward and then say it was already done.
Yeah, because now I expect a real reward. I mean, this one is nice, but this isn't actually a reward for my stunning accomplishment today. So now you're going to have to up the ante.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see how it goes. Just see if you can make your ass to the randomly timed late night FAPs that we can do from now on, and see how it goes. Make sure to like and subscribe. I meant to try and catch your stream and like do like a bridge kind of situation, but you know, I'm always running right up to the clock against the clock on Sundays with this stuff. So hopefully your stream went well. Organized chaos.
I was watching Bob Chaos's stream, and that guy, he talked about Dumpy Pants Gaming or Cringy Pants Gaming, whatever the guy's name was.
Yeah,
it sounds
real fascinating individual.
Yeah, he said we're going to talk about him probably on the showcast this coming week. So I don't know anything really about him except that I've seen, I think TTV and Gaming has covered him for. So that's about it.
Is this just some sort of gaming chud?
I think so.
Yeah, and he's got a pretty respectable subscriber base.
I don't know if they're respectable.
Subscribers. Well, in terms of the numbers he has,
sure.
Relative to the space he's working in with other chuds, he's got a pretty large following on YouTube. But his takes are very, very 2016.
Oh, Russell Jimmy's, huh?
Yeah, and they might even be like takes from 2006 or 7 because he seems to think that was when video games were the best.
What did chuds even say back then? What did they talk about? Holy shit!
They were mad at in 2006.
Yeah, in 2006 or 7. What was that about?
They weren't. Well, the point is they weren't mad. That's his point.
Right.
Because games were perfect and masculine back then. So
I mean, that is right around the time that fucking Resident Evil 4 came out. So I kind of see where he's coming from.
Oh, counterpoint, like jokes about how feminine JRPGs go back to like the 90s though.
Oh.
It means American games. The only true games. American ones are the only ones that count. Western, I should say. He would probably say Western games now.
He's one of those guys that just spends his time building up strawmans. Kind of like Critical Drinker, you know? And I only say that because
Critical Drinker isn't allegedly around children.
I think I'd heard that he has children, maybe once.
Does
I don't
he
know.
have? Oh God.
I mean, hopefully it's not the 11-year-old that he didn't beat up.
That he did not beat up. Yes.
In 2015, 2016, but was charged with. Anyway, so yeah, we got some fun ads going out. We got Harrison Ford being sincere and like talking about something that matters and like not seeming too curmudgeonly about it.
That's the most sincere Harrison Ford has seemed since Return of the Jedi.
Whoa.
You
thought he was sincere in that movie? I thought he was just barely holding back the fucking "I don't want to be here" kind of.
Correct.
Vibe.
I mean, he was. Yeah. So I forget. Did Last Crusade come out before or after that? I think it's after that.
I think it was after. I'm almost certain it was after.
What was?
Last Crusade.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh yeah, it was definitely after. That was more like 89, 90 or something.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. My favorite personal Harrison Ford experience is one where I didn't meet him directly, but I was on jury duty over in Pasadena, and on the wall of the waiting room for potential jurors, they have photographs of every celebrity who's ever served on a jury. And one of them was Harrison Ford. And I spent my entire time in the waiting area imagining what must it be like to be on trial for your life. And you look over at the jury box.
And there's Harrison Ford.
Han Solo scowling at you.
Crazy. Yeah. Well, look, I know I'm going to blow somebody's mind right now because I was, it's pretty obvious. We've been promoting vote for Kamala Harris. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna change it up on you guys real quick, last minute.
Oh.
I'm gonna go ahead and say that we ought to be voting for Donald J. Trump. Okay.
Time for it to stop, and it stopped on Tuesday when we get to the polls and we vote for my friend and your friend, Donald Trump Jr. Donald Trump, J. Trump.
Donald Trump Jr. is his kid.
Donald J. Trump. Okay. You got it right, finally. Look, I don't like to make fun of people for speech impediments. That guy's a big piece of shit, though, so I don't even care.
At some point,
I don't care about his speech impediments. I care about his policies, which are incredibly harmful and stupid.
Yeah, Trump
everybody
blew
flubs their speech sometimes.
Do I not know about that? I got the original video right here. Like, okay, prepare yourselves to be disgusted. Okay, I mean, just because. Not that what the act that he's doing is disgusting. We're all fucking adults here, right? Like, we're probably, if you're watching this channel, you probably have some bit of a juvenile sense of humor, appreciation for things that are kind of fucked up. But no, the fact that this guy still might become president is what's disgusting.
Yep. Well, and that anyone would support him. Oh my God. What is he doing?
Well, I mean,
He's testing the audio.
It took my girlfriend a couple of tries to make sure that she saw what she saw, but I mean, it's pretty clear what he's mimicking there.
He's actually adjusting the mic position and trying to test the audio, but
yeah,
it looks like he's doing something else.
Right.
And the fact that his cameraman stayed on him while that was going on.
Shout out to that cameraman.
Well, that must not have been the same camera. I mean, maybe it was the same cameraman as the one that let's see. Let me find this other one here. Fuck, did I not download that video? I thought I did. Shit. Okay. Crap. I'm gonna have to go find it because, man, there was like a moment in I guess it was today or last night where he was doing his speaking thing, and he's like, well, we fill all the seats. There's no seats left over. And immediately the cameraman just sweeps around behind him, looking at and there's like so many empty seats, just so many fucking empty seats. And it's like, oh, that cameraman fucking hates him.
I like how I saw a post shared out by right-wing commentator Mark Levin saying he sold out an arena in Milwaukee. And in the picture Mark Levin shows, you could see the upper two tiers in the arena were just empty.
Yeah.
Like, they're not even trying. They're just lying.
Let's see if I can find that one. I thought, this is the one where he says he's okay with journalists being killed, though.
And to get me, somebody would have to shoot through the fake news, and I don't mind that so much because I don't mind. I don't mind that.
Yeah. So
Very
Cope.
fun.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right, you ready?
We've had the biggest rallies in history of any country, and every rally's full. You don't have any seats that are empty. You don't have anything yet. I mean, the one we had today, you missed a beauty. We could have filled that place up 20 times. I mean, that was beautiful. And the Virginia rally, did you hear about that was Glenn Youngkin did a great job, the governor of Virginia.
Oh no!
And they had a crowd.
How
that was
embarrassing!
incredible. And then we came here, and we
He's doing a real slow pan too. I love it.
I love it.
Very hard, and you don't mind a little bit. We weren't very late. We weren't very late. Just a few minutes.
Shout out to the hidden heroes within the Republican Party who are doing this to him.
It's just a cameraman, you know?
But, you know,
yeah.
We've been doing, I was talking to some of the people. It's sort of, you know, in a way it's sad, in a way it's beautiful.
And everybody's fucking half asleep and shit. Like,
oh
my God. That section's killing him. That's going to kill him right there.
I'm thinking for like 9 years. We started
it's kind
a
of
year before,
bad.
And we've had tremendous success in 2016.
People are leaving too. Like,
we did phenomenally, right? We went in, they said, they gave us a 3%.
He's making sure he gets people leaving too. Yeah, for sure.
Sort of like amazing.
They're
right?
gone.
3%. That means 97%.
You know, I'm gonna take a picture on my way out. Maybe I'll remember to vote for him on Tuesday.
I was saying. Well,
yeah, these are the people that show up because how often do you get a chance to see the president live, whoever that is, or the former president, whoever that is, and then once they get their 30 seconds of footage to prove that they saw him, they leave.
I love that the people that are holding Trump signs, their signs are just like folded over on themselves, limp, you know, like limp dicks in their lap, like they don't even care. Oh my God, that is so many seats.
That's embarrassing.
You know what? To be fair, these might be seats that are not available due to security concerns.
Maybe.
Sure.
A lot of fake news.
Or not. You know. You could hear a pin drop or chew on gas. You could hear Trump shit himself. You know.
Could we not hear him?
The biggest crowd in the history of the world. No one's ever had crowds bigger than me.
Yeah, it's a big crowd, Trump.
So there's a quick update on the story we covered a couple FAPs ago, I think, about the Elon Musk canvassing organization.
Oh yeah.
It turns out that most of the people working for that group didn't even know who they were canvassing for.
Yeah.
Because and they were
so accidental heroes then.
Yeah. So and they were driven around in an unmarked van and dropped off places.
That seems right.
and
they kind of like kidnapped to do it too. It was like they just dropped him off and said, "We'll be back." Yeah, and the group they worked for, a lot of these people traveled from out of state, and the group that hired them was supposed to pay their hotel or motel bills, and the organization told them, if you don't do this, we're not paying for your lodgings, and we're not paying to send you home. That's that's who they have in their ground game on the other side. Well, and like that's the sort of person like, just canvas an area, right? Like, okay.
Yeah, but they didn't know who they're supposed to canvas for, even while they were doing it.
Yeah, I want to say real quick, absorbent individual. I would, cautious optimism is the way to go, way to proceed. I think being overconfident is a recipe for feeling like a dipshit.
Yeah.
And
or
having,
worse. Yeah.
I mean, if he wins, there's going to be feelings to work through. You don't want to work through the feelings of, I was so mistaken feelings too. You don't need to have those along with the, we got to deal with President fucking Trump again.
Right.
The guy that blew a mic and shits his pants. He's president again. Fuck.
You don't want 2016 shock syndrome again, where like you wake up the next day and like it's the Trump ascendancy.
Absorbent individual. I just want to say that like we are I believe in that statement that you made there about noble people in this country. I believe that's true based on vibes. We don't know that there actually is. The only thing that is going to count is, count.
I am deeply skeptical that there are more noble people in this country than stupid people. Number one, because you can be both stupid and noble.
Yeah, noble. They're not mutually exclusive.
But the sentiment that absorbent individual is expressing there is basically saying there are more good people in America who won't tolerate this than bad people, and I am not sure I believe that at all, based on vibes and lived experience.
Well, I mean, when there's people in the country like this guy who, let's see what he's upset about.
She needs people to basically lie to their husbands, which they are promoting, by the way, which I find that entire advertising campaign so repulsive. It is so disastrous. It is just like
I'll show it in a minute.
It is the embodiment of the downfall of the American family. I think it's so gross. I think it's so just nauseating where this wife is wearing you'll show it, wearing the American hat. She's coming in.
No, be stoic, dude. Be stoic. Mopey, it's not just like we're just not just two modes, you know.
Yeah, we're going to be going over reasons tonight. There are reasons to be hopeful.
Instead of just like outright just coming out with your take and being like, this is the way to be, maybe watch the show, see what we have to say about it. Maybe you'll come away not disagreeing and not also doom and glooming.
Yeah.
But maybe even you'll have some substance behind your optimism. We'll see.
Yeah.
Because tonight we are going to be determining live on the FAPcast, the final FAPcast on a Sunday for a while. Is it HOPIUM or is it COPIUM? What do we got? Because Iowa has presented a Harbinger. And quite the Harbinger it is. And there's actually some more stuff that's come out since then too. So we're gonna be looking at all these Harbingers, these potential omens. Be they good? Be they bad? Be they
in between?
Yeah. And hopefully Toyo Harada won't have his grubby fingers in this.
That
Harbinger.
dude, man. Yeah. I mean, hopefully this is like the second incarnation of the Harbinger, which is like whenever he became like a superhero kind of thing. And for the anyway, you guys don't know what I'm talking about. You get it though, Bob. You get it.
Yes, I do. It's nice to be on the in club. Yeah,
you're in the Charlie Kirk club.
I don't know if you recognize his tiny face, but that's Charlie Kirk, and he's really upset because Kamala Harris's campaign, or at least a PAC, I suppose, put out a advertisement to remind people, that women in particular in that one, that you don't have to tell anybody who you voted for. You don't ever have to do that. You can just go in there and vote whatever you feel your heart tells you to do, whatever's best for your family. And if maybe you got a husband or something that is going to vote for Trump, fuck him. You don't have to vote for Trump too if you don't want to. And look, I do think that it's kind of one-sided that they released that ad. I'll be honest, is a little, to be critical. They released that and it's like, okay, that's a little bit sexist. So they went ahead and they released one for the dudes too.
Come on, boys. Let's make America great again. It's your turn, buddy.
Before you cast your vote in this election, think about how it'll impact the people you care about the most.
Daddy!
Remember, you can vote any way you want, and no one will ever know.
Do your patriotic duty?
You bet I did, brother. What happens in the booth stays in the booth. Vote Harris Wall.
There you go. It's all fair now, Charlie Kirk. Shut up.
Mm-hmm. Well, and what
now? Charlie Kirk. Not only is Charlie Kirk's wife gonna vote the way he hates, his best friend is gonna vote against.
Right. Sorry.
All his bros are gonna vote for Harris too. He's alone now.
How paranoid and untrusting do you have to be?
Bye, y'all.
Is sort of toodles. Hope you feel better tomorrow.
Not in the right mindset for people giving you their, honest appraisal of things, and that sucks. I mean, I hope that living in a sheltered, comfortable kind of a self-chosen reality is fun for you. We're trying to make it for real people living in the real world here.
Didn't even stick around for the HOPIUM part of the podcast.
Right.
We have lots of HOPIUM.
It's a show. We gotta dangle the fucking, I don't know, the threat, potential risk, right?
And there is. I mean, the potential risk is also very real. Like it's
Yeah, no, it's not like we're not. This is legitimate. We're not like putting on a show to be like, oh, we gotta know for sure we're gonna win. No, we don't. There's no way to know. There's the only one way to know, and that is to count the votes and then wait for all the legal shit that Trump's people are going to be filing for the next month or two after that to get shut down. And then we know for sure. Okay, then we'll know. Goddamn.
Well, yeah, because like the election is just the end of the beginning of this process. Where like the legal challenges have already begun.
Yeah,
and we're
yeah,
not,
they have.
and they've been going on for a month now.
But I mean, I want to remind you two things real quick before we move on to the HOPIUM and COPIUM. I just wanted to get these couple things out of the way. One is tariffs. If you are someone who's like, Trump's gonna fucking, he's gonna place tariffs on this stuff, and like you think that's a good thing. Why are you this way? Like, why are you this guy?
The man is going to take America back, baby. Donald J. Trump, man.
What's one of your biggest issues?
Probably going to be inflation, because I sell T-shirts and all that stuff.
Your T-shirts are made in the USA?
No, my blanks, no. See, that's the thing Trump's talking about. If we tax them, hit tariffs, the same item they're making over there will cost the same to make over here.
We pay the tariffs.
Well, the companies pay the tariffs, not us.
China doesn't pay the tariffs. We do when they come in.
No, it doesn't work like that.
Like if I'm buying 1,000 shirts from China and there's a tariff on it, I'm paying the tariff.
Well, no, whoever's getting it imported in is going to pay the tariffs.
Yeah. I'm the business owner. I'm paying the tariff. China doesn't pay it. I pay for it.
Well,
and like if I'm the business owner and I buy 1,000 shirts,
I see what you're saying.
China's not jolly. So I'm trying to.
So this guy right here, you just called Jolly. I fucking love this guy. Watch how he handles this shit.
Pays the tariff. They're paying the tariff.
Do you think that? Do you believe that?
I was trying to say, because I sell merch as well.
I sell you something for $10, right? You're going to sell it to him for $20.
Exactly.
But then I make you pay me $15 for it. Are you still going to sell it to him for $20?
Am I going to sell it to him for $20?
If I raise the price $5.
Oh, it's going to have to go up.
Right.
So yeah, the consumer foots the bill.
Have a good day.
Just
That's exactly it.
Like a G.
I look at the tariff issue kind of like the vaccine issue in a way. We're like, broadly speaking, we don't see tariffs as our primary form of government revenue anymore.
Right.
That's moved to income taxes.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't quite grasp how that impacts us. And so, it must be fine. In the same way that, we're not getting these diseases. We don't need vaccines anymore when, the reason we don't get them is we have the vaccines for them.
Well, I mean, let's be real about why we're even talking about tariffs whenever it's never, at least as far as I can remember paying attention, never been a point of discourse in elections, is because, I mean, for the most part, I mean, a lot of people, the way the economy works, myself included to a degree, definitely not as much as I used to, but like, it's just magical. It's all just magic things happening. And you don't understand it. It's just some shit.
Yeah.
That happens.
It's the weather.
Let smart people handle that. Right. But the only reason that anybody is talking about tariffs now, that they're talking about tariffs, even though they clearly don't understand them, is because Donald Trump mentions tariffs. Right. It's like, it doesn't matter if there's actually something going on any other time, any other candidate that's doing anything about tariffs or whatever. They don't care. But when Donald Trump mentions something and they just fucking onboard it as being like, that's the God honest fucking gospel. Now I just got to say tariffs all the time and I'm fucking right. And that just kind of speaks to goddamn cult mentality. That's the real problem.
Yeah. And tariffs can be useful.
Yeah,
there are ways to use tariffs in positive ways to help.
I was learning about
American production of things, but he wants to put a tariff on all imported goods.
That's so stupid.
Yeah, and putting a 20% tariff on all imported goods and deporting 10 million people will wreck the American economy, which means it will wreck the global economy. And apparently, Elon Musk is okay with that.
Is it in shambles right now?
No, the economy is not in shambles right now.
No, it's
not. The
not.
economy is recovering.
It's last I looked, it was still doing its recovery thing that Biden set into place.
Like the American economy is doing better than any of our major allies.
Yeah.
So
economic policy
that,
is a lagging indicator.
Are we talking about like, how rich people view the economy, or are we talking about like, the average person and what we're paying for gas and milk and bread and shit like that? Like
both.
Okay. Fair enough.
Yeah. The economy is a lagging indicator.
He was quoting Sonny.
Okay.
I was like, man,
I haven't watched that
Mark,
show.
I thought you were a smart guy. What's going on, man? Well, I mean, that's very much true for sure. That is a overall problem that's not going to be solved by any presidential win, but definitely not by Trump, and definitely not by Kamala either. But you know, he would make it so much fucking worse. Like yeah.
Well, the president, whoever it is and whatever party they belong to, at best has an indirect influence on the economy.
Yeah.
The policies have to be set by cabinet level departments and Congress.
But I mean, boneheaded shit like putting tariffs on everything is the exact kind of thing that could have a pretty direct impact on the economy.
Yeah.
Right.
But that still even requires an act of Congress, though. He can't just declare that there's a tariff on things.
Fair enough.
He might think he can, but he can't.
I mean, look, if he wins again, all fucking bets are off. Like, really?
True.
I mean, no, I'm sure that he won't be able to do whatever he wants, but I think that's the goal. Obviously, with 2025 and everything, you know, to create a system where the executive branch can just do whatever the fuck. And
well, I think there's a real chance that if he wins, he does not survive his first year in office.
Yeah.
Look at him. He does not seem well enough to do the job.
Morgan, okay, I think you're being ridiculous right now. I want to read. I got a speech right here, verbatim from yesterday, of his that I'm going to read to you.
Okay.
So you're going to eat your words. Okay.
Sure. I'll get a plate.
Please get that plate and get ready because here it comes. All right, this is verbatim, mind you, literally word for word. I'm going to try to sound as eloquent as he did.
Oh no.
When I say insane asylums, and then I say Dr. Hannibal Lecter, does anybody know? They go crazy. They say, oh, he brings up these names out of, well, that's genius, right? Dr. Hannibal Lecter. There's nobody worse than him. Silence of the Lambs. Who the hell else would even remember that? I have a great memory, but they always hit me. I don't bring it up too much because they have a take such a, he brought up Hannibal Lecter. What does he have to do with this? What is it? It has everything to do with it, right? So I've done something for you that I haven't done in 20 speeches. I brought up Dr. Hannibal Lecter, and we're allowing him. You watch. These fake people will say again, he brought up Hannibal Lecter. It has nothing to do with anything. You know I do the weave, right? The weave. It's genius. You bring up Hannibal Lecter. You mention insane asylum. Hannibal Lecter. You go out. No. There'll be time in life where you weave won't finish properly at the bottom, and then we can't talk. But right now, it's pure genius. Hey. I have an uncle, my Uncle John, my father's brother, 41 years at MIT, longest serving professor, has so many degrees, he didn't even know what the hell to do with them all. And the most complicated. I understand a lot of this stuff, you know, I believe in that. Like, I mean, Jack Nicklaus is not going to produce a bad golfer. Right. You know, that's the way it works. It's just one of those things, and it's in the family, and it's whatever.
You know what? I forgot to get the plate because I was distracted by how stupid that sounded.
Sorry. I had already decided I was going to read that out loud, so I just took the opportunity. But like,
it was perfect comedic timing.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he is not well.
No, he's not well at all. I don't know if it's
there was barely a complete sentence in any of that.
The campaign are definitely like compounding whatever else, right? Like because he's campaigning. Let's be real. He's trying to fucking keep his ass out of prison right now.
Right. That is his main concern.
Yep. You lost your way halfway through. He lost his way sooner than that.
Yeah, you made it farther than the person giving the speech did.
Pretty much as soon as he's mentioned Hannibal Lecter, he was gone.
He loves that guy.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
It seems like he may think he's a real guy, but then he mentioned Silence of the Lambs, so he knows there's a movie involved, but like, does he really know the connection of those things, or is someone trying to tell him and he just like doesn't retain the information? It's trying to understand why his brain does shit like that is honestly, if it wasn't such a big deal and like had a, you know, really harmful impact on a lot of people, it would be kind of fun, you know, like trying to.
It's like he knows Hannibal Lecter is a genius. And he's trying to associate himself with the idea of genius.
But he also
he
talks about it because he doesn't know what political asylum is. So whenever he was saying for a while back that they were letting people in that were, you know, from mental hospitals or whatever, that's what he was referring to. He'd heard someone say asylum in the context of seeking asylum.
And he thought they meant asylum.
Yep. That seems pretty clear. he thinks they're letting migrants out of fucking insane asylums, and they're just like, fucking cartoonishly running across the border with their straitjackets on or something. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, he wouldn't even eat them, dude. Like, he would not eat them for sure. I mean, I've read a couple of those books. I'm pretty sure he was a bit more concerned.
Yeah, Hannibal Lecter has much more discerning tastes. Even fava beans and a nice Chianti couldn't fix this one.
No, there's
okay.
Well, you know what they say: you can't fix stupid.
No, that's true. You can't. In fact,
one story I'm allowed to tell, and it's hilarious.
You have stories you're not allowed to tell? What happened with the Trump story?
Okay, so he's like, he doesn't really know how to read.
For real.
Yeah, and he loves to improv.
Yeah.
So during like the table read, he like, before like we were gonna read before he had to read each line, and he's the host, so he's at everything.
Yeah.
He would go, I'm not going to say this. I think I'm going to say it the way I want to say it. Is that okay? Is that okay, Lauren? Is that everything? And everybody's like, what? And then this is my favorite part is there was a sketch that we wrote where he's at Disneyland with his daughter, and the line is, all right, let's get out of here. Turkey legs? Like, let's like go get turkey legs? And he doesn't know how to read. So he went, all right, let's get out of here, turkey legs. He called his daughter turkey legs.
Maybe that was his improv.
Oh, no, it wasn't. And then he looked up, like, he doesn't get it. Like, he thinks if everybody's laughing with him, but we're all laughing at him. And it was, like, crazy. He would be like, I did a good job, right? And we're like, yeah.
Did he need reassurance, a lot of reassurance, or was he pretty confident?
He constantly kept saying how amazing the ratings were going to be.
And they were.
He's like, this is going to be number one.
He was right.
So,
He had been unwell for a long time, and that is not going to get any better.
No. All right. Well, let's get to the thing. Unless anybody else has anything else they'd like to bring up or mention or show or tell.
Nah,
I'm gaming.
Okay.
Absorbent individual is back and says, "I am worried for my life."
I know. I see that. It's not something that.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, keep your.
I mean,
I'm
about to give you hopium. Is what we're about to do.
We're going to give you the hopium.
Chill. I will say that
Sid.
you went kind of slingshotted back in the other direction pretty quickly. So that tells me that maybe you do need to kind of just like take some breaths and listen to what we're going to present is based on facts. We're going to present facts, and then our analysis based on those facts. We're not trying to spin any bullshit. We're not trying to tell you anything just because it's what you want to hear or anything like that. Just, trying to make sense of all this. The other day, there was a poll out of, what is this? Iowa? Is that a state?
Iowa. That's a state. Legally speaking, that is a state of our
U.S.
That's a
allegedly.
Iowa.
I have family from Iowa.
They're known for stuff. They're known for a caucus, and like that's what is that? That's typically because they vote first, kind of thing, right? Is that they vote? What's that is? What's the Iowa caucus? Why is that a big deal?
Yeah, it's the first presidential candidate nomination in the country because they have a law that if you move yours up, theirs moves up too, so you can never beat them.
Cool. So they typically are a big deal at the beginning of races. Never really at the end. In fact, so much so that neither campaign this time had any ground presence campaigning in the state as of now since the end of the primaries, actually. Right? And it's like, wow, why is that? Well, because both of them had, based on history, based on the way things had gone the last few election cycles, had written it off as being going for Trump.
Yes.
So yeah, and what did they go for Trump in the last election? It was
quite a sizable. It was like 7-8 points.
Pretty big deal, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, basically, they went heavily for Donald Trump in the last two presidential elections, including the one that Biden won. you know, so like, yeah, it makes sense that if you're trying to, you know, spread your resources around in a smart way, and you're going to focus on the states where you really have a chance at, like, you know, winning things, then you wouldn't worry about that one, or you just kind of go, we can't focus on that state. However, okay, so before Biden dropped out or handed the race over to Kamala, he was down by 18 points in under Trump in Iowa. Okay, so this is June.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in September, this is after Kamala had already joined the race, Trump was still ahead by 4. As of this was 2 days ago, which is going to be this last poll out of Iowa, this election. Kamala has fucking more. I'm trying to find the exact number here. Yeah, 47 to 44. 47% to 44%. That's like literally the margin of error is 3%. You know, so I don't know. What do you think? What we got?
I think we should stress, number one, that no poll is a prediction.
Nope.
However, this poll, the Seltzer poll, is considered by all of the other pollsters in the country to be the gold standard. When the Seltzer poll puts out results that their polls disagree with, they go and check their methodology. They don't question the results of the Seltzer poll. And this poll has, to say it predicted it is the wrong word, but it has been an accurate reflection of every presidential election, I think, for 25 years, including not just who's going to win, but also the margin by which they did win.
Damn.
And that's now, none of that is a guarantee, but what we should be doing right now is enjoying the fact that Republicans are losing their fucking minds over this at the moment.
Yeah.
They're not denying the results of the poll. They're flipping out and wondering
well
what they did wrong.
Balance this out with some copium, maybe, you know, or whatever, however we're phrasing this. They probably are telling themselves that this poll is just like a fluke or something like that. But whatever, you know, they're justifying it as because
and it might
a lot of polling has been supporting Trump winning.
Mm-hmm.
But when we talk about polling, what are we talking about? We're talking about a bunch of different organizations, a bunch of different groups that, you know, generally, I think almost all of them, or most of them anyway, are for-profit organizations. They do this for money, meaning, you know, people, depending on what we're talking about, hire them to do this. And in many cases, it seems like more and more in the last few elections, many are hired by Republicans, you know, right-leaning folks to do these polls. And that's gonna, you know, if your methodology is unsound, if your methodology is even just like intentionally dishonest or whatever, then you're gonna have a bunch of polls. You know, so that's why, like, you'll see a lot of talk. Thankfully, it's starting to be talked about a lot more. You know, like, how are they phrasing it?
Poll herding.
Yes.
Yeah. Polling is astrology for policy wonks.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
And like you were pointing out, there's a lot of money on the table because both parties pay pollsters to give them data that they can use to shape their campaign strategies, and the mainstream media pays pollsters to provide them with content.
Right.
And the last two presidential elections, the pollsters got egg on their face because they were trying to make predictions and forgetting that they're not in the business of predicting things.
Right.
So the predictions that the media made based off of the polling data were wrong.
Right.
So
that's why, like in 2015, there was like only a few polls, and it was at the very tail end of the race that were like, oh shit, Trump's going to win.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because like it was just, nobody was thinking that.
So
but since then,
problem,
go ahead. Sorry.
The big problem that's being talked about right now, finally, is the fact that pollsters, what poll herding is that pollsters are all looking at each other's results and going, well, that poll says it's a horse race and a even split, so our results must be wrong. So we're going to massage our data so we get a result just like that pollster over there got.
Right.
Let me go ahead and I just
what the
noticed a
Iowa
comment.
poll.
Bob, I'm sorry. I'm gonna go ahead and address this real quick. So, I apologize. I was looking at other things, not at chat. Absorbent individual. You are here right now with people who are gonna. We're cool. All right. I recognize you're going through some stuff. I'm not gonna repeat anything on stream for you or anything like that. But like, you're good right now in this moment. Okay. And then by the end of the stream, we're going to be giving you some, not just like talking about the election stuff, but like Bob of the Old Ways here has helpfully grabbed some, information about resources and stuff like that for mutual aid and other, and I'm sure other people in the chat might be able to offer some too. There's the best way to proceed when you're afraid is to be informed and have a realistic grasp of like what, if any immediate risks of harm to you are. But right now on this stream, in this chat, there's virtually none. Anybody shows up being a dick, they're going to get banned. You're good. So just like be here right now in this moment, and it's take it one moment at a time.
Yeah. Join us in the HOPIUM stream. And like Dane said, at the end, we're going to provide resources on mutual aid and empowerment, self-defense, and any others we can track down in the meantime. And take heart from the Iowa poll, because the Iowa poll may indicate that things are leaning in Kamala Harris's direction a lot more than anyone suspects. That's the big takeaway.
But what? Okay, but what if there's other indicators though?
Such as?
Go on.
Let me see. Oh, did I set myself up here for failure? Let's see.
Oops.
Oh, you guys ever heard of Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico? Is that something?
Yeah, I believe a
Puerto
Rico Diad poll is from there.
Yeah, so there's I guess there was something recently where like some guy said something weird about Puerto Rico. I don't know. No, yeah, that fucking piece of shit. Tony Hinchcliffe said, the shit that he said. And it's like, look, man, you're obviously gonna fucking alienate some Puerto Rican folks, and then people who are just like generally decent human beings by doing that. It's hard to imagine there's that many decent human beings that are like we're supporting Trump at this point, but you never know.
Well, there are a lot of Hispanic Republicans.
Yes. And there's a lot of people that really, really fucking hate anything remotely like if somebody gets properly labeled a fucking communist or a socialist, the Cubans are gonna fucking like they don't like that shit. The Cuban Americans rather. Because they definitely came here to escape that shit. And so if you are able to successfully paint somebody like a Democrat as one of those people, then yeah. Okay, so there's a survey out of Pennsylvania that Pennsylvania Latino voters have significant awareness of specific remarks made at the rally last weekend. 69% of respondents found comments such as referring to Puerto Rico as a floating island of garbage to be more racist than humorous. Only 17% of respondents viewed the remarks as intended jokes rather than serious commentary, suggesting that Trump's attempts to appeal to Latino voters may be undermined by the offensive language employed by speakers at his events. So this is from a Univision poll, and just kind of looking at that specific incident and how that might have had an effect. And we're talking about Pennsylvania, which is a swing state, and so yeah.
Yep.
There's that.
And the data is I mean things are looking good for Kamala Harris overall, because the indicators other than polling are all leaning in our direction. And again, that's not a prediction. It's just a probability.
Right.
Informed
and things like this
analysis.
Puerto Rican story and are all in our favor.
So somebody said make comedians funny again, and since we should kind of punctuate this with a little bit of levity here and there. I showed one video last week, and then I've found some other videos since then. Bob saw them the other night, but like, let's see.
I think one
Check
thing we're
this out.
seeing. Oh, go ahead.
So go ahead. You go.
One thing we're seeing as far as these polls go is that this is the first presidential election we've had since the Dobbs ruling overturning Roe v. Wade. And the Democrats have overperformed polling in every election since that ruling.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's another takeaway we got from the Iowa poll. When you dig into the data, you see that in Iowa, white women over the age of 55 are leaning for Harris by 2-1 margins, and white men over 55 are leaning towards Harris by a 2-point margin, and 5% of the Republicans polled said they were voting for Harris. So if those indicators are similar for the rest of the country, Trump is cooked.
Right.
Yeah.
At least in the election part.
So if you see the thumbnail of this,
white people over 55, he has nothing.
The thumbnail of this stream, okay, it is almost certainly not going to happen that way.
Yeah.
But it's not completely impossible, and that's kind of crazy. Like I said in our private Discord, and I'm going to say it publicly now. I probably shouldn't. But if we turn Texas blue, I'm going to piss, shit, and come all at once, okay? I'm going to fucking do it all. I'm going to scream
People
like
forget.
a little girl.
Just don't record it. Just don't record it.
Yeah. People forget Florida is a swing state. It's not a deep red state. Florida went for Obama in 2012 and I think 2008. It on paper, it went for Al Gore in 2000.
Right.
Texas, until the 1980s or so, was a blue state.
Right.
And
that was Lyndon
Secretary
Johnson's
of State there, Ken Paxton, said that in an interview recently that had he not interfered with, or had his office not interfered with the election rules in Texas in 2020, Texas would have gone Democrat, according to their statistics. So
that's why it
is not impossible. It's unlikely in the current election, but it is not impossible that Florida and Texas are both in play. And that is something we should all be really excited about watching.
Indeed.
Because the more so what is going to happen? So to put the copium to this, already with the electoral strategy of the Republican Party is no longer to win the election. They have abandoned that as a plan.
Yeah.
What they are doing is hoping that they can hold power in the House long enough to muck up the transfer of power and the validation of the Electoral College votes, either by having states that are controlled by Republican politicians but that go for Harris to not certify electors, which changes the math, or to override the voters and just send whatever the heck they want.
Yeah. And there's in the Constitution under the 12th Amendment, if there's not a usable electoral result from the Electoral College, then the House of Representatives picks the president based on the state delegations, which means that each state in the House of Representatives gets one vote. Not every congressman from that state votes individually, but they vote as a block as one state. And so if the Democrats do not capture the House of Representatives in this election, which it looks like they're going to do, but if they don't, the plan is probably to have a state like a red state that Harris wins or a purple state that Harris wins, create some kind of trouble so that there's not 270 electors going to Congress to be certified.
Right.
And then Congress will say, oh, we're going to have to do it by the 12th Amendment. And then the Republican states will decide who the president is.
I'm taking some solace in the fact that, so last time, nobody really, and I think this includes like Democrats in office and stuff, nobody really thought they would go for that. Like they would attempt that shit, right? But they did attempt that shit. And now the fucking scales have fucking fallen from their eyes. And I believe that just as much as the last 4 years, Trump and his people have been looking for, what's the next way into this fucking, we're gonna get our way in there, one way or the other, right? I think that there have been people that are much smarter than them trying to fucking, just kind of batten down the hatches and mind their P's and Q's and cross their T's and dot their lowercase J's, to make sure that they probably can't do it.
Right.
That's not to say that that's foolproof or that is even, fully accurate, but I just feel like that's probably got to be true to an extent, right?
Yeah. Harris has a huge legal team, and they've been going all over the country, engaging in legal challenges for months now, like suing suing states who are like all those states where the election certifier people who are supposed to be
the electors.
Yeah, all those people who've just come out and said, I'm a Trump supporter and I'm not going to certify the vote.
Right.
Harris is dragging all those people into court already.
Mm-hmm. Saying you have your obligation under the law is that you must certify it. You don't have a choice.
Yeah. There's been a couple of court rulings that said that.
The next thing we're going to show you here is very important. Okay. You guys ready?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
That's a lot of Canadian.
That's Wolverine. How did that get there? Oops. How embarrassing. No.
Dane's bub folder was open.
Sorry, guys.
Dane's goon folder strikes again. This is our horse moment. Yeah.
Right.
Hey, by the way.
Wow.
I believe in justice. Okay. I believe justice is a good thing. And I believe it's kind of a poetic justice that the cop candidate would be the one to legalize cannabis.
Yeah. This, by the way, is why I think it was a mistake for Harris not to go on Joe Rogan's podcast, because all she has to do is talk to him for 3 hours about legalizing weed.
Right.
And him and his entire audience would vote for her probably, because he just adopts the opinions of whoever his last guest was anyway.
True.
She gets on there tomorrow. Like she's the secret guest. Like her people have been working on that. Just like gets on the last possible moment.
Do you guys feel like that's going to move the needle at all? That whole conversation with Rogan?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
I think a sizable portion of his audience was already in the bag for Trump. It doesn't really matter, and the rest of them aren't going to see him in any different light because he did an interview with Trump and Vance.
Yeah.
Who they should really get? They should have gotten Walls on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
two would get along way better.
That would be the way to do it.
Yeah.
Because Walls can fucking talk about sports and shit too.
Mm-hmm.
He can bro down with them, right?
Right.
Yeah, man, real missed opportunity there. Now, somebody said earlier, make comedians funny again. I agree. We need more funny comedians, but there are some that maybe you aren't aware are funny and also pretty fucking base, like this guy.
JRVP, my quote, woke bro podcast.
The term woke originally meant like educated in what you were talking about. Are you woke? Do you know the statistics of what you're preaching on here? And then it became like an insult. And it's one of those insults that I despise, which is the blanket, like, zero creativity. If I hear someone be like, oh, it's woke, in that tone, I write them off forever. Bro, I don't care. Do I think of myself as a bro? No, but I understand how 99.9% of the world would. It's also one of those terms that if you get mad about it, it's lame. Like, yeah, you want to call me a bro? Great. The woke bros, I am super cool with. Here's what you say to your girlfriend next time you're in the car and you're cranking JRBP. And she goes, oh, is this the Woke Bros podcast? Say close, anti-woke bros, and then slam your car into a tree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Slam your...
He can go kind of hard out of nowhere. But then there's also this is a little bit older, but still.
Politically correct? I don't think so. I know this is unpopular for comedians to say, but I think that political correctness in this country has gotten more and more powerful over the past couple decades, but a lot of great things have come out of it. You look at gay rights, you look at transgender acceptance, a furthering of racial equality. These are all things that came from PC, and it makes my job harder, but I don't want my job to be easy. As a comic, I want it to be difficult. I want the obstacle course to be master level.
Hard to argue.
I dig it.
I mean, for real, like that just kind of casts a little bit of shade on all these dudes that are like, oh, it's so hard to be a comedian now.
Well, how many comedians have just like trotted out their Netflix special that is just the one joke? It's like, oh, Chappelle has got like 3 specials now that are just the same anti-trans joke over and over again for an hour.
Yeah, I mean that's part of what Joe Rogan's most recent and probably be honest last stand-up special was about. That was pretty bad.
Hey,
It's really bad.
you know who tells really funny trans jokes?
Trans people.
Yeah.
What?
Trans people have some wonderful, wonderful.
And there are some of them that even I get, and you know, just from
Yeah.
context cues.
Right.
Even if I don't understand the details.
There was this one that Bob Chaos had shared on the Showcast once that was like I don't forget the guy's name. He's like a British guy, and he was just really humorously kind of laying it out, you know. And this is what good comedy should do. He's like putting things into a perspective that you know make more sense, and also just like you know, I don't know, I guess erase some kind of delusions that exist around certain ideas. But like the guy was saying that like, yeah, you know, I'm not, you know what, I know better. Trying to repeat fucking, you know, any kind of stand-up comedy is not good.
Yeah.
So this is Anthony Jeselnik, and you know, just here's another clip, by the way.
That I loved, that was, my family was exactly like the Brady Bunch. We might not have been perfect, but my father did die from AIDS. And it would kill, in the beginning, the first 10 years of my career, it would kill so hard. People would be like, I love that joke so much. And then all of a sudden it just stopped working. And I was like, oh, my audience has gotten younger and they don't know about the Brady Bunch. They don't know the guy, the actor. So I was just like, oh, I got to stop doing it.
Yeah, because I think my fear would have been that something, oh, people don't love AIDS, or they're not, or they're...
Nobody loved it.
Everybody's gotten on the side of like against AIDS, you know?
Theo, people love AIDS. What other disease gets its own quilt?
Damn.
Like, yeah. I mean, he's really masterful at taking topics that in lesser comics' hands would just become the one joke basically over and over again, and you know, or just like the cringe version of, you know, racism or bigotry or whatever, and he kind of turns it out. What was the other one that we watched it the other night where it was like something about it started out and he's like talking about, you know, he had a roommate that was roommate was blind. Was that what it was?
No, you're mixing up two different jokes. He had a
never mind.
I can't tell the stand-up joke either, but the gist of the joke was he sets it up by making you think it's going to be a joke making fun of a blind person for being blind, because he talks about how his school had a blind. Oh, the joke was his school had a blind janitor, and all the kids used to tease him because they would say, you know, masturbating a lot makes you blind. So this guy must be a big masturbator. Right. And then the joke was when all the parents got involved, they were very upset about the presence of, you know, they wanted an investigation because it turned out this guy masturbates all the time. And obviously that's terrible delivery on my part. But
yes, that's why repeating
he set up the joke as being like an anti-woke. He set up the anti-woke expectation and then subverted it with a joke that had nothing to do with woke identity politics.
Right.
But he made the audience think he was going in that direction. And the joke he told was still kind of edgy and offensive.
Right.
That was one of the darkest jokes you've ever heard, Mikey. Oh my God.
Which joke was one of the darkest jokes you ever heard?
I'm guessing the AIDS quilt one.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sarcasm, clearly. Like he was, and what he was doing there, what's funny to me is he's making fun of Theo in that moment for saying what he said. You know, he said,
he's
literally
making fun of Theo, and he's also making fun of the disease of AIDS rather than making fun of people who have AIDS.
Yes.
Which is an important distinction that a lot of people forget all the time about.
The subject of the joke is everything in terms of like whether or not you should even attempt to make a joke about it and not expect. Like, I'm trying to find the one thing that, like, oh God damn it, where is it? He said, you know what, I'll find it and we'll watch it later on. I don't want to hold up the whole damn stream about it, trying to make people laugh. But moving on to, what are we moving on to? What else we got? We have a plan here.
I don't know. It's your show, bro.
Okay. Well, it's Morgan's too, but I mean, I guess I did kind of.
You had this COPIUM idea.
That's true. All right, so check this out. We got to fucking put a bullet, figuratively, completely figuratively, not at all literally speaking, betwixt the eyes of MAGA as a concept, as a movement. You know, I don't like it's just got to be done, and that's why I think that, you know, I honestly don't feel like we have to worry too much about the numbers as far as will we have more numbers and win. Probably, but like the thing that really worries me is will we have enough like overwhelming votes to just, you know, like I said on Twitter last night, I said, you know, the guys that fashion themselves as culture warriors, if this election breaks the way that the HOPIUM tells us it's going to, right? Surely they will be aware that this is just a resounding, you know, just like a rejection of MAGA, and they will just like, you know, stoically, you know, hang their heads and go home and process their feelings in a dignified manner, right?
Yes.
I have bad news with how religious thinking works.
Yeah, I know. No, it's they're gonna act pretty shitty no matter what. I've been saying for a long time that no matter what, even if they win, they're gonna fucking act crazy. Maybe even crazier if they win.
Bro, if Kamala Harris wins by a gigantic margin, by like a decisive margin, and there's no doubt at all, the incel politics on the right are going to go so hard and get so much more radical.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. This is going to be the Republicans' playbook for the next generation.
Right.
They're not going to stop after this. Now MAGA might die down because their great leader goes to prison or dies or whatever, and there's nobody waiting in the wings that we can tell right now who's equally as charismatic. But there's always somebody equally as charismatic waiting in the wings somewhere. Right. They'll find someone else to back this up with eventually.
Right, so I got two stories here. These are kind of crazy. This first one's kind of crazy. Okay, so when I say MAGA, the reason I mention that specifically is because it's not just Donald Trump that we're up against right now.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's the figurehead of it all, but like it's indicated to a lot of fucking talentless, stupid, and just like even craven fucking exploitative minded people that they can do this too. And so you get guys like what's his name, Derek Anderson, who is currently a Democratic congressional candidate, a Republican congressional candidate in where's this at? Where the hell is this? Oh, Virginia. And he is going up against one Eugene Vindman. And some of you may remember that name.
Colonel Vindman, yeah.
He was a guy that I don't remember the details, but I know Trump was like, oh, didn't he? He's the guy that reported some shit about Trump, right?
So I believe the one that is running is the brother of the intelligence, the military intelligence analyst that was the whistleblower on the Trump blackmailing Ukraine for information on Hunter Biden.
Yeah.
Back in 2014. That's why he was impeached the first time.
So many things ago.
Right. So many what the fucks ago. His brother was also discharged from the military as basically just a fuck you too.
Right.
And so now his brother is running as a Democrat.
Yeah, he's a Democrat in Virginia. And so he received a cease and desist letter from Derek Anderson, his opponent.
I remember this. Yeah.
Endorsed by former President Trump because he has been sharing videos accusing the unmarried Republican of misleading voters with ads featuring people who are not his wife and kids. And you know, the way that's said, the worded there, it's almost like the guy's doing something wrong. I don't really think he is. The guy did put ads out. Anderson did put out ads where he's like with this family, and like he's not even married.
Right.
And you know, I mean, is that illegal? I don't know. Maybe no. I don't know.
It's not illegal, but it is like heteronormativity pandering.
Yeah, it's straight up pandering to fucking Republican, you know, because yeah, it's really hard to win as a Republican if you're not married. You know, I don't know how Lindsey Graham did it.
I mean, he got in before things were super fuckled.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean,
and also
like always been that way though.
And also like Eric Hovde is running here in Wisconsin, and fucking he doesn't post with his family. It's just him talking about how Tammy Baldwin is too busy fondling her wife in New York, and something about immigrants. Fun fact about that guy, because he likes to play the like, oh, Tammy Baldwin is for illegal immigrants and trans surgeries for stuff. Eric Hovde's bank is involved in a federal suit right now for laundering money for the drug cartels that he is trying to hoist blame for onto Tammy Baldwin. So like he is literally trying to blame her for his actual crimes. Wild times. Yeah.
So this is just like, this just goes to show the kind of bullshit that MAGA people get up to, man. Like, so first of all, the guy started it. If you want to say it like that, I'm gonna say it like that. He started it by fucking doing this ad where he's like with this fake family or whatever. Then the guy responds, Vindman responds with an ad of his own, in which, and this sounds fucking hilarious, where a lookalike of Anderson is eating dinner with cardboard cutouts of a family. And he's like, he throws a frisbee at the daughter's head, and it just like hits the cardboard daughter in the head. And he's like, hangs a towel on the cardboard wife and stuff like that. And apparently, they don't like that. And the voiceover says Derek Anderson was caught using a fake wife and kids for his campaign. He's trying to hide that he's another extreme MAGA politician. That sounds honestly pretty cool ad.
Yeah. Hashtag maidenless.
Maidenless isn't.
So Anderson's campaign has sent a cease and desist to stop using the images of that family, the cardboard family, because apparently those images are publicly available on the National Republican Congressional Committee databank of publishable materials for super PACs to use in ads. So these are publicly available, and I guess the Democrat using them is what they're going after. That technicality is what they're doing, because they don't like that it's an effective fucking ad.
Sounds like it's a parody of his fucking ad with his fake family.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about the fair use, nerd.
Yeah,
so there's that.
I mean, if you don't want people to drag you for having a fake family, maybe don't lie about having a family.
Right. Because there is no shame in not being married with kids.
Right.
None.
But it's also a dumb thing to do, because people are going to find out that's not true in like 3 nanoseconds after you drop the ad.
Right. Your Oppo research in the Erase That Tight and that public, like, they already know about your family, probably out to your cousins.
Yeah.
They already, like, your opponent already knows, and you just handed them that free win. Like, you're bad at this.
And one of the worst things about the MAGA movement is the fact that there are people that don't even give a shit about Trump, really, that get up in there too. And that includes people like this group here in North Carolina. So a group of anti-government extremists who showed up in Western North Carolina promising to provide disaster relief after Hurricane Helene is now threatening to destroy cell phone towers and sabotage military vehicles. The group, Veterans on Patrol, attracted attention by setting up disaster relief staging area in the parking lot of a grocery store about 50 miles from Asheville. But locals, including some who initially cooperated with the group, began to complain about threats and harassment. Over the past 3 weeks, members of the group, which falsely claims that Helene was caused by a weather weapon, have been making conspiracy-driven claims that the U.S. military is attempting to kill U.S. citizens with directed energy weapons. And this doesn't say anything about Trump, as far as I can tell yet, or anything. But like, are you going to sit here and tell me that these motherfuckers are not supporting Trump? You know they are.
Well, if they are not, it's because Trump is not extreme enough.
Right. Yep. But I mean, that's the thing, is like he's an empty enough suit, essentially, that the extremists can kind of just like, even if he's not extreme enough, there's still extremists that are butting up to him just because he's influenceable. He's going to create the kind of conditions that are favorable to people that are more extreme than he is.
Right.
And he's already done it. He's been doing it. So just,
yes,
we got to get rid of this shit.
He is what we call a useful idiot.
Yep.
So yeah, this is Veterans on Patrol, is led by Michael Lewis, Arthur Myers. Too many names. Too many. Who has a long history of anti-government extremism dating back at least 10 years. According to Southern Poverty Law Center, he is not a veteran.
Wow. It's a veterans group, and the guy's not. Oh, I love that. Literal stolen valor.
Reached by phone on Friday, Meyer doubled down, said Jesus used bullwhips and flipped tables. We're going to use our bullwhips and topple towers.
What did Jesus use those bullwhips and topple tables for? What was he doing? Was he like separating?
He was driving.
I think he was going after
driving. He was driving the moneylenders and merchants out of the temple.
Right.
And energy weapons like sci-fi guns, yes, kind of like Jewish space lasers, yes.
That's exactly what they mean.
And yeah, and spoiler alert, white Christians who use Jesus as an example in that story, you are the money changers in the temple. You are not Jesus.
Fun fact, it was against the Christian religion for a very long time to lend money at interest.
Uh-oh, here we go. Okay, yep, we're getting right here. Okay, so, of course, read along, and it goes right into the election. So one message on Telegram on October 22nd claimed that Helene was a weather weapon steered to destroy the area, while also claiming that the investment fund BlackRock is attempting a land grab and describing the storm and its aftermath as an act of war perpetrated against the people. And as the final days of voting in the presidential election approach, posts in the group's Telegram have become increasingly urgent.
So here's the worst part of that. I absolutely believe that firms associated with BlackRock are probably trying to buy up land cheap in hurricanes disaster zones, because that's not uncommon. However, one, you're not going after BlackRock, you're going after fucking FEMA and the political party that wants to regulate investment bankers and these sorts of people, rather than just give them free rein to buy up all the land. And two, how many of these people don't believe in climate change, but they believe that the Democrats have the ability to create hurricanes as a directed energy weapon? Those are mutually exclusive beliefs.
Yeah, it's the difference between the right and the left. The left has a systemic critique of capitalism, which is what's responsible for climate change, and the right makes everything about the personal pathology or flawed psychology of distinct individuals, and all events are isolated incidents, never part of a pattern.
Well, see, I mean, but that, even saying it that way, which is accurate, it's accurate, but like it's saying it that way implies that they think of it that way when they don't. It's all just fucking vibes to them, man.
Well, functionally, they don't think of it that way consciously, but that's the way their thoughts are.
Sure.
Their mental castle is structured.
Yeah, because I mean, how else do you come up with? Let me finish reading here. So guess where it's going to take us? We're going to land on, you'll see. But where's it at? Okay, so on the 22nd, a post claimed by Meyer said that there's stolen elections are a real phenomenon, along with weather weapons, satanic PDF files, and adrenochrome, which refers to a QAnon conspiracy theory that a cabal of elites torture children to extract chemical from their bodies, which is then used recreational drug. So, yeah, we ended up on Q.
It always comes back to
choose your own Q venture, you know? This guy's chosen the weather weapons path. See how it works out for him. All right.
Not badly enough.
And you know, that was just a point of that is just to remind you that there's more than just like, it's not even just the fact that we're dealing with a government that wants to, continue to restrict rights for women and anybody that can get pregnant to be able to control their own bodies. It's not even that. And I'm still astounded, by the way, that they're actually going to use the fucking Comstock Act to do that.
Oh yeah, which we talked about.
I don't know how you fucking saw that coming, but like, holy shit.
That's because I'm a prophet. I have the power.
That was well over a year ago, Bob. That like Morgan was just like, we're going to talk about the Comstock Act in this episode. I'm like, what is that? What does that have to do with anything?
Boy.
Some old thing, some old shit that doesn't have any bearing on today at all. What are you doing, Morgan?
Oh, how wrong you are, sir.
Yeah, you underestimate my power.
So yeah, but yeah, point is, it's not just them. It's not just that. It's also these folks that need to be, not so bold anymore. They need to be kind of like, if ideally they would like get some help and like be less insane. But if short of that, at least not be so confident.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. And here's an ad, by the way.
Oh, this is fun.
The condom broke.
Oh, I have plan B in the bathroom.
Great. I'm gonna go get that now.
Sorry, you can't use that.
Who are you?
I'm your Republican congressman. Now that we're in charge, We banned Plan B.
No, you can't. You can't do this. I can't have a kid right now.
I won the last election, so it's my decision. Now let's get back in there so we can give her the news, Daddy.
I'm pretty sure that is directly related to the whole Comstock thing.
Yeah.
To say once again, that actor playing the Republican is really good.
It's perfect. Yeah, nails it.
And so wasn't it you, Bob, that said that you thought that they wasn't like Pornhub was showing these ads unskippable?
That's what I saw reported. It's in states where it's in red states. I can't verify this, but I saw a report on, I think it was a majority report, where they were saying
I could change my VPN and go try and verify it. Honestly, I can do that right now.
In some states, according to the report I saw, this ad and the other one with the that's anti-masturbation one where they're banning porn is allegedly being run on Pornhub videos as an unskippable ad.
Nice.
In states where they're like doing things like requiring you to have a driver's license or to provide your driver's license information before you can look at porn and stuff like that, which is a thing that's happening apparently.
Yeah. There's several states that already have laws like that on the books. And keep in mind when we're, covering the whole slate of things they want to do, they consider queer representation in any way, shape, and form to be pornography. So if your TV show has 2 gay characters, 2 gay side characters, or a gay lead character, well, that's now pornography. If the video game you bought has gay characters or you could pick your pronouns, that's now pornography. It wasn't before, and it's not pornography, but it's pornography now.
Yeah, I missed a lot of what you just said because my earbuds dropped out. I had to reset them.
Oops.
But I heard that the mere existence of or the public display of LGBTQ affection is considered pornography.
Yeah.
Is that what you said? Yeah. And then you couple that with Project 2025 wanting to ban all pornography.
Right.
Do the math there, folks.
Right.
Dude, so apparently Charlie Kirk endorses Kamala.
What?
Oh, yeah. Here's a post from him. If you haven't yet decided in this election, don't vote for someone the FBI is investigating and might go to prison.
He posted this in 2016, didn't he?
This was 2016, yeah.
This is about Hillary, right.
So cool, man.
Lol.
Welcome to the team, Charlie.
He was early. He was early to the team, right? He beat us here. He was.
Well, I mean, certainly he's not someone with inconsistent standards and just like will say whatever so his team wins, right? Right.
Maybe Charlie Kirk will secretly vote for Kamala. No one will ever know. And then he can continue his grift, and all his
Gail
bros
Sloan
will
voted,
never
and
know.
you guys might be surprised who she voted for. I was shocked.
Was it Cyclops' heat vision?
She said, this is verbatim. Well, I voted. Jason Todd, you're out of here. God damn, that's brutal, man. Can't believe she would vote anti-Todd. But she did.
I mean, look, Jason Todd is an okay character, but he's still the weakest Robin.
He's definitely, he's the best fucking Red Hood.
He is the best Red Hood, but that is a bar.
He's no Dick Grayson.
No.
And Dick is no Tim. Let's be honest.
No.
You know what? I used to just based on the fact that Tim was the Robin whenever I came about comics, and was like, so he's in my mind he's Robin. But Dick Grayson is a fucking awesome character, man.
Oh yeah,
yes he is.
Just in spite of Batman, Dick Grayson is awesome.
Yeah, he's like the emotionally available Batman, the emotionally stable Batman.
He's the one that went to therapy. Yeah, did the work.
Yeah.
Yep. So Steve Bannon got out of prison, by the way.
That's a shame.
Well, he was only sentenced to a few months. So
yeah.
But thankfully there was what's his name? Something Steamer or something like that was waiting for him when he got out, and he got a cool little video clip here about that. Kind of just spinning my wheels. I thought that we would have more to go on. But I'm starting to look.
We can talk about the resources we have.
Yeah, we got resources. We got resources.
real
We
quick,
absolutely
here's this.
Robbie Roadsteamer here. I'm wondering when's the next insurrection, and can we storm the Burger King after this? Like, can we do that? I mean, doesn't he look great now? We were in Danbury the first month together. He looks great. You don't remember me? We were lifting weights and stuff in the weight room. When's the next insurrection? How are we going to do this and stuff, man? You know what? If I'm leaving, I'm having a good time. He looks like Yoda with AIDS right now. Robbie Roadsteamer, no political violence, people. This place smells like mothballs. Wow, over here, where's the elevator? I'm not even going to get like hors d'oeuvres or something. For sure.
Who was that guy?
Robbie Roadsteamer.
I've never heard of him.
I've never heard of him either, but he's a hero.
I will say this. First of all, he said accurately that Bannon looks like Yoda with AIDS.
AIDS.
That's
I'm sorry for the AIDS that HIV has contracted Steve Bannon. That's rough.
Yeah, no shit.
I wish they can, put that to bed.
I looked at a couple more of his videos, and in one of them, he drops character very briefly to say that he's got some kind of health condition that sounds pretty awful. And yes, I mean, if you want to look him up and help him out, if you're able to do that, that's something you can do. I wouldn't, expect anybody to do that, but be able to do that, just drop of a hat. But yeah, hopefully he keeps doing what he's doing and makes some money.
And if you've got money to help someone out, I believe there's a QR code for a good cause up in the right hand.
That's true. Corner. That's true. Yeah. For anybody's not aware that my own partner has had a health scare. It's quite scary, and heart situation, which you kind of need one of those.
Yeah,
and hers is not doing the right stuff sometimes. And she is taking off some time from work so that she can focus on adapting lifestyle and just kind of resting a bit. And so that means that we are down a good amount of income for a while. And so, yeah, it's kind of tight. However,
anything you can do is appreciated.
I will say this. I had already been saving, and I went ahead and pulled the trigger on an e-scooter. So
there you go.
I got an e-scooter. I'm an e-scooter man now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
How many months of the year is that good in Portland?
What's that?
How many months of the year is that usable in Portland?
I got it the exact wrong time of year.
Oh,
sure. It's about to start getting fucking butt ass cold, and it was just good for because the parking situation's atrocious, and just all this other stuff. I hate even going anywhere because it takes longer to get to the car. Where in the apartment complex we live in and stuff, to get to the car, get out of the building, get out on the street. It's like you're just going down the road for a quick thing or whatever. It's like that takes longer than anything else. And it just fucking frustrates me. It's stressful. So I'm like, you know what? This is going to be a good excuse to get some air on my skin. I don't know.
There you go.
Yeah, I live in LA, and I exclusively use bicycle and public transit to get everywhere. And I've done that for 10 years. And people don't believe it. when people here in LA don't seem to understand that that's even possible.
Well, I wouldn't want a car in LA. That sounds miserable.
Yeah.
I had a car in LA for 10 years and it was awful. And it doesn't take me any extra time to get anywhere. And I never have to look for parking. I don't pay for gas or car insurance. It's glorious.
Yeah, that sounds rad.
Yeah, I've been stuck in traffic in Atlanta before.
What did Absorbent Individual say? Can you
get some kind of web link related to Tennessee?
Yeah, earlier I posted I'll look for it again. I closed the tab, but I posted a link to a trans mutual aid network in Nashville. I think. I don't know if I know Absorbent Individual said something about Tennessee. So I just did a quick search for trans mutual aid in Tennessee, and that was the first link that came up.
That seems great. All right. Just don't get 5 stars. All right. And I can tell
you that riding a bicycle in LA is often like living in GTA, but not in the way you hope.
You're the NPC in GTA. You're not the player character.
Yeah.
Look, this is unrelated to anything, but we need a little bit of unrelated good news, right? So apparently Jake Paul Go ahead and let you process your the bile that's coming up in you.
This is the Suicide Forest guy, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
He's going to be fighting boxing. So, what's this guy's name? Michael?
Yeah, Mr. Tyson.
He's going to get crushed. He's going to get crushed
Oh, look,
by
dude, Mike Tyson's 58 years old. Like, how fucking come on now? Like,
can you pull up a picture of Mike Tyson, please? There we go.
This is Mike Tyson right now, and to quote Mike Tyson right now, he's talking about this. He says, he admitted that his second personality, I think this is kind of the one that technically he attributes to being the rapist in the past. Iron Mike has returned. Yeah. I'm always careful when that guy comes out. Every time I drink or get ready to fight and Iron Mike returns, I break out in handcuffs. Unfortunately, I have to fight and be that guy. I wish I could stop that guy. That guy haunts me. I wish I could stop that guy. I wish that guy died, but he's here again. And if Jake Paul is not shitting himself, then he should be.
I've been seeing a lot of social media takes that saying there's no way a man who's almost 60 can beat a guy who's in his 20s. And I'm like,
you know nothing. You
bro.
know literally nothing.
Did I play a game called Jake Paul Punch Out? I don't think so.
I mean, if you're somebody who's been boxing and fighting as long as Mike Tyson has and had the natural talent that he has, right? That dude, like at 58, that dude is still faster than most boxers I've seen in their 20s now. And I mean, there's nothing about him being 58 that precludes him from having the same cardio health he had or anything like that.
Right.
He might have joint issues, but you can go 3 rounds and do that.
I don't think this kid's
I think Jake Paul's in
rounds.
for a rude surprise, a rude awakening Jake Paul's got coming to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he probably on some level is like aware of that, and he's just like, whatever, all for content, man.
Right. So what's the over under that and this is it's certainly an off-color joke. What is the odd that Mike Tyson goes full Ozzy Osbourne and bites his head off like a bat?
I mean,
I don't know. I don't think he'll go that far.
At least maybe in a year. He's been known to
lend me your ear.
Been known to nibble on some lobes now and then.
Yeah, he's a lobe.
Here's
lobe guy.
Here's what Jake Paul's going to do. He's going to try to stay out of Mike Tyson's reach for like 3 rounds or something, and until he's convinced that Mike Tyson is gassed, and then he's going to come in and try to like go for a strike, and Tyson's going to wreck him because with one blow, because Tyson will not be gassed. He'll just pretend he was gassed.
Right. Because Mike Tyson is be like, well, this guy isn't committing, so I'm just going to hang. Like, I too can hang out here, you moron.
Yeah. That being said, I don't think either of these people are good people, and I wish both of them would lose.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
how do we
I will say, I will kind of push back slightly. I'm not going to sit here and like full throat defend Mike Tyson, but I will say that, he's done some reprehensible, unforgivable shit in the past. But, I don't know if you're not aware, he has done the trauma therapy. He's done the work. He's done some severe fucking work on himself to like become an emotionally regulated human being, which, considering, if you know anything about how he grew up and stuff like that, he kind of was off to a bad start from jump.
Right. And he is less of a danger to himself and others than he was at his prime, but he is still not a great guy.
Yeah. I mean,
you can recognize both of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that he seems like a good guy now. That just did some fucking disgusting, irreparable, just like unforgivable shit in the past. He's not somebody I would want to hang out with or anything, but like I think there is a testament to being able to, despite that, go. I still don't want to be that anymore. I'm still gonna fucking be a better person for the rest of the time I got left, and then do that. There's something to that. But anyway,
yeah, that's fair.
So, what else we got? What else we got here? Any other stuff before we do the mutual aid?
Let's check out the mutual aid. I'm good. I mean, I could complain about Ohio for a while, but no one needs to hear that.
Shout out to this motherfucker on Twitter, man, that like last night. Okay, he's been fucking being a piece of shit this whole time. Sorry, I don't like to normally do this, but fuck this guy.
Uh-oh.
I posted a thing and it was the post, about how like if things go the way that it looks like they might go, these guys that call themselves culture warriors, they're going to be aware enough that this is the culture saying no, we don't want MAGA, right? And they're going to be cool about it. Of course not. That's the joke. But this guy replied or retweeted me because I had my replies limited to people that I follow, which I often do.
Right.
Partly because it's funny when people do this. So this guy retweeted me, replying to my tweet above it instead of underneath it, effectively replying to my tweet. Said, you got your replies locked, you coward, or something like that. Which is, not my first time hearing that type of thing, and it makes me laugh more and more every time. And so I said, and it was like late, and I didn't have anything going on though. I'm like, look at my girlfriend. I was like, hey, do you mind if I jump on a stream real quick if this guy wants to? I said, fuck it, And I replied and I said, hey, you want to jump on stream right now and talk? Let's talk. And I've done this countless times now. I'm sure people that follow me have seen me do it, and they never do it. They never fucking send the email. They never, actually want to follow through. And then of course the dude turns around and says, "Oh, I'm a chef and I got to work in the morning, blah blah." Because he's been calling me a coward and shit. And I'm like, "Oh, so you're just a sleepy coward?" Okay. It's like it kind of blows my mind that people think that. First of all, you did reply to me, you stupid fuck. You replied on top of my tweet. In fact, you're replying like by retweeting me and replying that way. More people see it.
Right.
More people see it than if you just replied underneath it. So like there's literally no reason for you to complain and act like that's some measure of fucking bravery or cowardice or whatever. But like, no, I will absolutely jump on a stream and talk to you, because the reason I don't talk to people on fucking Twitter or whatever is because they love to just say shit and then run away and not back anything up, not support claims, not be held accountable for false claims. You can't really do that so easily whenever you're talking to somebody.
Right.
Not me anyway. I won't let you. And so he's just been kind of like coping this whole fucking time since then. Whenever I went to go send him the link, I literally created it's called little virtual studio in StreamYard. Created one. I did not put a stream live on YouTube, which he's been exploiting that fact, but I did create the pre-stream kind of situation and sent him a link, or I was going to send him a link in DMs, and his DMs not open.
What?
No DM thing. And I was like, well, okay, just tell me where to send it. I'll send it. Never replied and whatever. And then today his DMs are open and he's saying, you never did send it. Look at my inbox. And he's like showing screenshot of his inbox. I'm like, you stupid fucking lying piece of shit. You're lying. You're lying. And so hopefully he's watching and he knows he's a lying piece of shit. You're a lying piece of shit. And it doesn't make you right. Okay, that's the important thing. Lying doesn't make you right. You're still wrong, and you're a liar. All right, that's all.
All right.
I didn't really have that plan to kind of wing it.
That's fair. Sometimes you got to go off on some fool. I get it.
Real quick here, though, I want to just show Anthony Jeselnik one more time making Theo Vaughn look really stupid on his own podcast.
Bit of a pyramid scheme is what it kind of our family felt like.
Theo, do you know what a pyramid scheme is?
Yeah, it's like when you offer, you say to somebody, do you want to get like a couple shares of, like a, what do you think it is?
I think some of the top is like, you pay me, and then you get, but for paying me, you get to come in, and then people below you are going to pay you, and the money's going to flow up.
Oh yeah.
So you get involved, and then you hope more people get involved.
Yeah, it wasn't like that. It was not that. Yeah, it was more like kind of trickle down, maybe some type of Reaganomics or something.
Mm-hmm. I mean, he's more right than he knows.
But I just love that last little with the squint that he does at him. Like, you're kind of a fucking dipshit, aren't you, Theo?
You're not a bright gentleman.
But he handled that with grace. I got to give it. That's how you correct somebody when they're confidently wrong.
Yeah.
That was a master class in how you do it.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Anyway, cool. What do we got? What's the deal? What's
what do we got, Bob?
Oh, you didn't have the links pulled up. I had them in Discord.
Oh, my bad. I'll do that. Pull them up real quick here.
I mean, I can pull them up too, but I'm not sure I can even share things on your stream.
I think you can, but that's okay. I got them right here. I'm gonna throw them up right now. We got Impact. I've heard of them.
So what I did was I focused on in the event of the worst case scenario for people who are scared. What I focused on was a couple of self-defense, what's called empowerment self-defense training programs for people that that they specialize in training marginalized people, so women, gender nonconforming people, racial minorities, kids, and stuff like that.
Cool.
And I used to be a padded assailant / instructor for a program like that in LA. And the other thing I found is what you're looking at right now, which is a hub of mutual aid stations around the country where you can go to get free food, basically.
This link I'm about to drop in chat, guys. I mean, if you ever are like having food insecurity situations, you're like, not sure if you're going to make it to next payday to get food, you just save this link. Just save it.
Yeah.
And don't feel shame if you have to use it. Those resources are there because if you have to use it, they're there for you.
Yeah.
These are people that have put this stuff together for you if you need it. And there you go.
So I will say that
sorry, go ahead, Bob.
I just looked at like the kind of comments we get in chat about what people are afraid of in the event of a Trump win. And I posted links that were relevant to those things, because what this program right here does, Impact Self-Defense, or in some places it's called Impact Personal Safety, is they train you both in physical defense techniques, but also in verbal and psychological defense techniques, like how and when to trust your intuition, like how to tell the difference between hypervigilance and
kind of
like
traumatic overvigilance.
Normal suspicion. It teaches you how to recognize verbal cues that could lead to a physical escalation, and how to de-escalate situations like that. And the pedagogy is always a woman leads the class, or a femme presenting person. They are inclusive in their definition of woman, so that includes trans women. A woman leads the class always, and the padded assailant is usually a man. But the padded assailant that has the mask and the padding all over their body, so that the student can hit them with the full force that they have in them and not hurt the padded assailant.
Beat the shit out of them. That's good.
Yes. So the padded assailant has to know how to respond as if they're actually being hurt, because you don't really feel anything. But it's designed to get people. Most people have never hit someone as hard as they possibly can.
No, you don't want to. It fucking hurts.
And that's the biggest hurdle for people. And so this teaches you techniques that are designed to keep you on your feet and drop the person attacking you as quickly as possible so you can get away.
That's awesome.
And it's informed by it's trauma informed. So every class I participated in would have, after a sparring session, there'd be a line of students, and you have to step up to the pad and you spar with the padded assailant. And then when you're done, you go to the end of the line, and there's a person there waiting for you to do breathing techniques to calm you down.
That's cool.
And stuff like that, and it's better than standard self-defense, in my opinion, because the self-defense industry is geared towards the lived experience of cisgendered white men. Who are far more likely to be the victims of random street violence than trans or than women generally. Most women are attacked by someone they know and trust.
Yeah.
And so this is a program that incorporates that lived experience and builds outward from it, rather than assuming you're just going to be attacked by a dark-skinned bad guy out of the bushes or something.
Right. Well, yeah, that's always the thing, that like our whole self-defense culture, because this is definitely a problem in firearms culture as well, is that we tend to create a mythology of who is going to assail you in your life, and statistically speaking, it will be someone you know. And this isn't just for minorities or for, women. It's just broadly applicable to everyone. But we don't teach people the psychological aspects of well, if you are in an altercation with someone what is that like? Because you're not ready for it.
Yeah. Here's a good example of one of their techniques. If you are in a relationship with somebody who's verbally abusive and they are yelling at you, they teach you that a way to de-escalate that situation is to match their tone of voice or their pitch or their volume, and then lower and then at the end you begin yelling at them, but at the end of your sentence you have lowered your voice to a more reasonable tone. And most humans who are yelling, when that happens to them, will stop yelling and bring their tone of voice down to the level of the person they were yelling at.
Okay, we'll pause real quick. I mean, one, you don't want to sound like an ass, but you do sound like one. And how many food banks have you actually been to be able to say that, man? Like, you're just kind of talking out of your ass, and you are. That's the thing. You are.
So, right? Do you know what that food that no one really eats is called? Food.
It's food, man. You realize that human beings have to eat food, right? And if you're going to a food bank for any reason besides you are fucking on the verge of, or facing starvation, then you shouldn't be going, really. You let people that are hungry enough to eat food and recognize that food is food. They have the same canned vegetables and fruits and stuff like that you're gonna buy at the grocery store. It's not like there's some fucking shitty grocery store that the food banks go and shop at.
Right. It's
I was tempted to say you fucking idiot at the end of that, but I stopped myself.
Yeah, well, I was also, because I've had family members who've had to use food banks. I've had friends who've had to use food banks.
Don't fucking discourage people who might already be fucking honestly, that's the kind of attitude that you can just fuck right off of here with.
Yeah, that's not cool, bro.
It's not helpful. It's not beneficial to anybody. You're just wanting to sound like, I don't know, like you know what you're talking about when you know for a fact deep inside, or maybe on the surface. I don't know. You don't. You don't. Moving on.
That comment sounds to me like someone who hasn't actually eaten food from a food bank before and has never needed to. And thank God you never needed to.
Claim about most food banks. Like, how many fucking food banks have you been to, bro?
Yeah.
Well, often
I've volunteered at food banks before, and the food they get is just normal food from normal stores that everybody eats, and a lot of it is donated by people who went out of their way to buy it just to donate it. It's not secondhand food that they weren't going to eat anyway. It's usually people donating out of the goodness of their hearts. They're spending extra money just so they can donate the food to a food bank.
And if there is reused food, it is, or donated food that was not going to be eaten. It's stuff like bread that is day old, or it was made on Friday and they send it to the food bank on Saturday, or they make it on Thursday and send it to the food bank on Saturday. That's fresh food that would otherwise go to waste in our grocery stores.
Yeah. Okay. If you use food banks all the time, then
the most you can say is you probably know 2, maybe 3 food banks that you can really speak to what they might have. Really, that's being very charitable to your position.
Yeah, I mean, if you use food banks all the time, then I don't know.
I don't understand why you need to. Yeah,
I have volunteered at more food banks than I've ever used, and most of the food it's canned and it's bagged, but that's the food that almost everybody else in the country eats too.
So I know for a fact, because I've done some volunteer work at it. There's a food. Okay, so I'm in Portland. Portland is, obviously like a more lefty, kind of a weighted place, and there's also large homeless population. But it is the food bank that I know of for sure. They every Thursday and I think maybe Sunday or something like that, maybe another day a week, they have hot meals. You go in and get a hot meal for dinner, and then you can go through and get the standard stuff that they're giving to everybody. And from what I remember last time I was there, it was there was Pop-Tarts. Not like
There's-
off-brand Pop Tarts, legit Pop
Actual
Tarts.
Pop-Tarts, yeah.
Just isn't something that pops out of my memory anyway. Of being
it is going, obviously it is going to fluctuate based on geography. So like,
yes, it's even going to fluctuate on week by week what kind of donations they get and stuff like that.
I mean, there's a church in my neighborhood that every Monday morning serves free hot food and offers hot showers to unhoused people. No questions asked. You don't have to listen to a sermon or anything like that. You just show up and they will feed you and give you a shower, and you can do your laundry, and
there's definitely going to be
you
some
like.
stuff. Sorry.
They'll help you like find how, like, start the process of finding a job or finding housing and stuff like that.
So there's going to be places.
That's a rare.
There's going to be fucking. Sorry, I'm just have to get this out, Bob. It's like there's going to be places that sometimes, or even most of the time, have less than ideal food, because less than ideal food is better than no fucking food. There's there's no reason for you to make that kind of comment. That's the thing. Even if that is your experience, even if that's how you feel about it, okay, fine. What purpose is there what does it serve to say this to where like somebody, there are people who might need to go to a food bank but are hesitant to because they feel ashamed. They feel like, that's for, I don't know if I'm ready to go that far, but like you're actually creating discouragement with that kind of comment for no reason other than just like you might have had a few bad trips to the food bank or whatever. Like there's no reason for it. So just like try to be better than that, please. That's all.
There's a food bank that my family went to that they found a way to give people Thanksgiving turkeys, like not big turkeys, but turkeys, and stuffing and potatoes.
They give them butt turkeys?
Yeah, they give just the turkey ass, the cloaca.
Sorry.
But but no, like is it a perfect system? No. Is it a necessary system? Unfortunately. But it should be celebrated and cherished and not belittled, even if it is not ideal.
Like going hungry is the, kind of almost the literal worst.
Yeah.
There's not much worse than it that I've experienced, and I've experienced it. So like
me too.
I don't know why anybody would want to discourage anybody from a resource where they might not have to go hungry if that's what they're facing. But nonetheless, let's move on. Thank you for looking these up, Bob. And I will say this, and the reason I jumped on camera is just because I want to tell everybody that, like, going forward, in particular, if the election does not go well, or if the outcome is, fucked with, this channel will be dedicated to. We will be actively looking for ways that we can help you with information. If you're somewhere where you are not safe or you feel like you need to, get connected to some resources or whatever it is, during the entirety of, really, I only stopped having it on there like last year, maybe end of the year. But like my descriptions of every video and stream used to have a shitload, like a long list of mutual aid resources, voting resources, things like that, just various things. And it'll go back to that. Honestly, I kind of feel like a dick that I ever stopped. But point being that, you can count that this little channel will be doing what we can to, provide you with information that maybe can reduce harm and keep you safe to some degree, or help you find a way to keep yourself safe or get yourself safe and fed and so on and so forth. So that's my promise to you.
Yeah. And so Juan has another comment here, and I agree with this. How about this?
Yeah.
Our government can give more food stamps.
Yeah,
I agree.
100%.
But that's not a reason to discourage people from going to food banks.
Right.
That's
a separate problem.
That's placing that's misdirecting the problem and the energy. We need to work on electing politicians who, out of political expediency, will be incentivized to increase the social safety net.
Mm-hmm.
We have to make it viable for them to win elections to do that.
Right.
And not discourage people from taking advantage of what meager aid there is for them.
Especially because
it's better than, like they said in the Rings of Power, hope is never mere, even when it is meager.
Right.
You know, and I would take food that I considered substandard over no food any day.
Having been homeless before, I would rather be homeless than without food.
So
if I had to choose, right?
Yeah. Okay, you're not trying to discourage anyone. That's good. I mean, your experience.
Well, he said he's not, but I'm trying to hold on. I want to look at how you worded this because it does matter. Okay, I don't want to sound like an ass. Sorry.
That's always a great way to know that you sound like an ass.
Most food banks give out the stuff that no one really eats. That's not just talking about your experience. That's talking about other people's experiences and indicating that, people that might be hearing you, that would be their experience as well. So I would just say that if you didn't mean to do anything that says give your experience, then okay, but just choose your words better.
Yeah.
And also, and I'm going to go ahead and call you out on this last one too, man. But I think you're either mistaken. You either have not filed for your EBT properly, or you're lying.
Well, some of that is state influenced, and if he mentioned he's in Wisconsin, so
$30. I was in Wisconsin for a better part of a year.
Yeah,
I was on food stamps when I was there.
Right.
I just saying, I don't know, man. I think you might need to check.
It's tied to your income. Obviously, we all know this, and the income thresholds are like 50 years old. So they're based on what the poverty line was like in the 1960s or whatever.
Right.
Really? Okay.
So yeah, the federal standard of poverty, I don't think has been raised since the 1970s.
Well, maybe I'm a little bit spoiled being in Portland for almost a decade now, but
I've been on food stamps in California and only gotten $30 a month too. So it's fluctuated, but I've been in that situation.
Yeah, I believe that it could be $30. That does not surprise me. Because I know people who have had food stamps and had 100 with kids. So if one is a individual with no dependents, I can absolutely see $30.
Yeah, I don't have kids and I'm not married.
A single person in 2024 is $202 per month. That's the average of a single person in the U.S. And the average benefit for a family of let's see. Okay, then it starts breaking down more complicated. But okay, maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh because of your previous comment, man. But I hope that I definitely would kind of urge you to look back through your application and what information that they have of you, what you're paying, what you're reporting that you're paying. I'll say that.
Well, and SSDI. Okay, dude. We don't know. We don't have perfect information, and we have had bad faith people on before, so a level of skepticism is required. I understand that's uncomfortable, but that is just unfortunately the shit-stained world we live in sometimes. And I understand you're in a rough situation. I wish better for you.
Same. But I mean, also
we're not your enemy here.
Nope. All right, moving on.
So anyway, one thing I wasn't able to track down, because I honestly didn't think of it until the stream had already started, was some kind of underground railroad for, because I know they exist, for homeless and unhoused trans folks and stuff. But this resource, Impact Self-Defense, and the other one, Empowerment Self-Defense Global, have for the United States and in other countries as well. And most of them also have scholarship programs for people who are financially. It's possible you could get all of this for free. Right. It depends on the program. You'd have to apply and find out what their standards are. But this is training that's designed around the lived experience of marginalized people and data on crime statistics and who gets attacked and how they get attacked and by who they get attacked. So because women are attacked differently than men are, for instance, and trans people are attacked differently than cis people are.
I will say, if you are looking for information on helping people get out of dangerous regions or states, whether it's queer folks or people seeking abortions. I would recommend against looking that up on Google for a host of reasons. What I would do is I would hook up with your local general activist groups for those people, and they will have those resources, and they will tell you through word of mouth rather than just posting that on the internet, because in places like Texas, they have been, attacked by the legal system.
I will, to add to that, like I will say this, as far as like disclosing personal stuff on the internet, even if nobody knows your real name or anything like that, in the event of things going badly, I would just really start to be a lot more mindful about what you say about yourself on the internet, period. And as far as like speaking to the railroad thing, it's something that I know has to exist to some degree. I know that, there's going to be, without even looking, I know that there's going to be some fucking based ass queer folks out there across the country that are connecting resources for, with each other, for other people. And, so that'll be one of the things that we will definitely be looking into going forward.
And as far as, so like, I think we can all stand to bring the temperature down a little bit in the chat. I would say the phrasing you used, as Dane pointed out, kind of gave us the vibe of a bad faith chatter.
Well, I mean, and also he's
that's
still
not
doing
to say that you did. That's not to say that you
called him a liar
objectively.
when what I did was said you're either lying about this or you're mistaken. So there's two things and I could be wrong about either one of those. I said that too. So I mean, if you're still hung up on you're gonna do insisting I called you a liar, that calling you a liar would indicate that I think you lie all the time, and I don't have enough information to make that kind of claim. So, nope.
Yeah.
I think you're a guy in a bad way.
The vibe check we got from you, I'm not saying this is your fault, but this is based on our experience with chatters. The way you phrased your comments about food banks looked like the kind of chatter who comes in bad faith.
Right.
That doesn't mean you did, and we were obviously wrong about that, but that's why that happened.
I know that was not just meant for you, but just after this comment right now, just go ahead and take comfort in the fact that we won't be addressing you the rest of the stream. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day and a great week ahead, and stay fed and whatnot. Here's another one of these Destiny. You know what I remembered was that, like, I don't like Destiny generally, but I remembered that around the 2020 election, I was watching clips of him too, and I'm like, that's what he's good for, really. He's just like shitting on conservatives. Whenever he's like directly going up against a conservative, or their MAGA, especially right winger, he he's all right in isolation. He does all right. And then of course I think he gets bored maybe otherwise, and then he just says really silly, stupid shit in between. But yeah, here's this.
Talking about the insurrection on January 6th, what would you describe during when Kavanaugh was elected to Supreme Court and you had all the protesters at the Capitol? They were banging on the Capitol doors, they were screaming, they were yelling. How do you feel about that?
I would have to know the specifics of the event. I don't recall any proceedings being delayed. I don't recall there being a top-down call from the president to lead these.
You don't remember that they had to stop the congressional meetings because people were banging on the door and being so loud and trying to break into the doors?
Proceedings for? If they did, then that's bad. Wait, just to be clear, this is the difference between me and you, okay? Is that if everything you're telling me is true...
I'm a female.
You're
so that's
Make America Great Again.
I'm a female. Okay. Yeah, I just put it on. I had a cowgirl hat on.
That's the difference that I'm talking about.
So I'm a female and you're a male, and it's almost like you're attacking me because I'm a female. Are you anti-female? Are you anti-female?
Half the time I am, okay?
What I'm saying right now,
I'm very honest. But what I'm saying, yes, I am honest, which is why I'm saying that
Sweetie, can I ask you another question?
I didn't even answer your first question.
No, you said that you didn't know the specifics.
Yes, but what I'm not
going to force you into a yes or no.
I promise you can't force you to do anything.
Okay, I'm not.
If it happened as you said, I would say that's bad. And you know what? The people involved should be arrested.
You're still yelling, and I agree.
Can't finish it. I can't believe
slowly fading out of the window here.
I know those people do exist, but like, holy shit, man! Like, he couldn't not have been more fair. He was giving her ground, and like still, it's just like they're just on this program to just ratchet up the fucking, the tension, ratchet up the like escalate, be bad faith. It's yeah. I don't know if you guys saw the thing that I wrote. I made sure I put it in the pre-real thing. I wrote that earlier today. That's just kind of how I felt about it. I guess final words on the whole matter. But like,
well, that's this permanently aggrieved conservative culture is that even if you give ground to them, they will just become more aggrieved because that's their state. There is no other.
Yes.
They don't know how to be any other way than mad.
Well, and the reason for that, if I can be a little self-indulgent as one last time on this, it's not like I'm going to get a lot of opportunities in this context. So, what I was doing was actually I have it up tonight. I'll have up about a half-hour clip from our MAGA violence episode.
Ah, yes.
So as I was clipping that, editing it down, I just kind of came to this and wrote it. That I said I don't really hate or fear Trump. Trump is some old pathetic guy who can't admit he's a born loser despite being pampered and having everything in his life handed to him. MAGA is what I'm worried about. MAGA is about ignoring civility. It's about disrupting any productive discourse, injecting chaos, and sowing division. But to what end? Well, really, MAGA is also about the selfish interests of the least compassionate, least patriotic, most reprehensible people in the country, telling the poor, the workers, the marginalized, the hungry, the neglected, and the righteously angry that they can solve their problems by blaming the other. MAGA is the minority of citizens who are gullible enough to believe that's true. And if you came to believe that your life, your loved ones' lives, would improve dramatically if only you did something about those goddamn fill-in other here, would you not actually be virtuous and noble if you took decisive action? Wouldn't you be a hero, a patriot, a real American if you finally solved the other problem once and for all? MAGA, when taken to its logical conclusion, is about violence. So that's the way I see it. I don't know if that makes sense, but like that's
you forgot the last line.
That's being my most charitable while still maintaining, my defense of what I know to be reality, right? Like my analysis is like I believe that there's a lot of people that are very, very they're on a hook, and they've been led very fucking far astray. And I'm not saying this means that they deserve your just like to go, oh, poor baby. No, not definitely always defend yourself and your loved ones first, but like this is just without talking shit, without being like, oh, you're stupid Republican or conservative, like none of that stuff. This is just my couldn't be more real analysis of what's going on with a lot of these people. There's just the fucking cynical fucking exploitative pieces of shit that they aren't misguided at all. They know exactly what they're doing. Those exist too, but
they do, in fact.
Anyway. Two things. You skipped the last sentence, which ties it all together. Vote against violence before it's not an option anymore. And number two, maybe we should do a segment or a FAP episode on Friday FAPs, which was where they're moving to now. Some point, maybe we should do a segment on how to talk to relatives or friends who think this way, because trying to debate them usually is not going to work.
Doesn't work. No.
And not to brag too much, but I have a old video on my channel where I gave one example of how to defend trans rights using nothing but the Bible. Because I have a lot of religious relatives and friends who have subscribed to that. And if I can pierce their thinking by speaking to them in a language that they already understand,
right,
it comports with psychological research that most people change their minds based on their own value system, the one they already believe in, and not not some other value system that they've been debated into. And so it's usually more effective to show someone how the value system they already believe in supports your position than it is to try to convince them that their value system is wrong.
Well, and I think we're seeing this play out in real time at scale with the abortion debate.
Yeah.
Where now that it's gone, right? Now that the safety net is gone, people have had to think in their own terms because conservatives have this I first narrative. How does this affect me? And when they put in any amount of thought, the answer is, well, it's shit. unless they're a religious zealot.
Yeah, that's what I find interesting about the Iowa of women, white women over 55 breaking.
That's
for
crazy, man. That's a
Kamala.
crazy fucking.
Well, you know what it is. It's they're thinking about their grandkids or their
Exactly.
kids.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Or they're thinking about the time when they were younger, when they were sexually assaulted, and they're thinking about like any number of things like that. That because sadly, it's the sexual assault happens way too often. Any at all is too often, but like. Yeah, the numbers are upsetting, especially, if you look back 30 years ago, it's probably pretty upsetting how often it happened. And like, yeah, they start thinking about that stuff, I guess. And then you couple that with like things Trump says, and then the things that he empowers other people to say, and to the way that they behave, that like you just wouldn't have expected people living in this current fucking dais, 10 years ago, you would not have expected to hear and see a lot of the shit that we hear and see. They've just become normal now. It's just something we see all the time.
I took a political science course about 10 years ago where the instructor said multiple times, Roe v. Wade will never be overturned.
Mm-hmm.
This was the political science consensus at the time, because the belief was that Roe v. Wade was a cornerstone in the judicial doctrine of privacy under the 9th Amendment. And because people valued privacy so much, it would never be gotten rid of. And 10 years ago, when I heard that, I was like,
bold of you to assume that people care about privacy.
I don't think you understand your opposition very well.
No, they didn't, right? Like,
I think everybody of course there's no real way to, unless you're kind of a specialist in it, I suppose, like nobody really understood the power of disinformation and how much it would really have an effect that it's had, right? Until you start seeing it play out.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
So
like
a lot of people who had that consensus, a lot of the chattering class who had that consensus have now been woken up to the fact that their daughters and granddaughters are going to have less rights than they grew up with.
And already do. They have less rights now.
Yes, they have less rights now.
What kind of person do you think is the kind of person that's like, okay, look, let's say, like, okay, it's one thing to say you want abortion banned, like just like in general, right? Mm-hmm. I still think it's fucking stupid and disgusting, and like, who the fuck are you to say what some woman can do with her body or whatever? But like, okay, but then there's like people that legitimately don't even want any like if you are SA'd and get pregnant. But what kind of fucking person is like that? Like who would honestly be that way? Like maybe Tim Pool?
I think people who are radicalized are people who have something to gain.
There are the true believers, and I don't know how many of the anti-abortion crowd are true believers. I don't know people's hearts, but the true believers think that they are defending innocent life.
They genuinely do.
They're mistaken.
They genuinely believe that. I agree, they are mistaken, but they genuinely believe that they are engaged in the primary human rights struggle of our time, something on the level of that slavery was in the 19th century. And when you believe that, it's very easy to justify the suffering that exists downstream of that, because your world's view is,
except they're not consistent, because and if this was and this seems like a gotcha kind of like but it's really true based on biology that if they genuinely believe that life is created from the moment that the sperm touches the egg, essentially, is that what it is? Well, guess what? Then you need to be supportive of transgender people, because all males, biological males, before they're male, are technically female. So get on board with
there are some who are consistent about it. You'll find a lot of, like, I'm going to say something nice about the Catholic Church for once here. Philosophically, the Catholic Church's pro-life position is very consistent. The Catholic Church is officially against abortion, war, capital punishment, and all other forms of the taking of human life as a matter of doctrine. Now, in practice, that's
Not so
different,
much.
but philosophically, they're at least consistent about it. But then there are other people who are true believers because they're misplacing their agency. Like they want to be able to speak for other people, and fetuses, whether they are people or not philosophically, fetuses are people in their mind who cannot talk back. So they can't say, hey, wait a minute, you don't speak for me. So
Right.
a lot of the anti-abortion people among the political conservatives are driven, I think, by patriarchal privilege, the ability to speak for someone and make decisions.
Stephanie, you
for
might
them.
be right here. That I would not be surprised to learn that that's the case. I maybe vaguely remember reading something similar to this, but I don't know. For sure.
What happened was that the religious right got started as an anti-civil rights measure because they didn't want the federal government telling them they couldn't accept black people into their religious schools, but that turned out not to be as viable at the grassroots as they hoped it would. So the Catholics, conservative Catholics, came to conservative evangelicals and said, hey, help us out with this abortion thing and we'll scratch your back. So it's very ironic that in a lot of ways, the anti-abortion movement in the US was the Catholicization of evangelicalism. Because before like the early 1970s, the consensus among white evangelicals was that abortion was nobody's business.
Yeah.
You can go and look up old issues of like Christianity Today or old sermons by Jerry Falwell from before 1975, and they will explicitly say there's no theological consensus on abortion. It's a matter of personal conscience. And then they did a flip on that when they realized that by being anti-abortion, they could get the political capital to keep their religious schools racially segregated.
Right.
I do want to just suggest that we enter hence nipples to be FAP.
Yes.
Anytime you don't know how to respond, well, hence nipples.
Hence nipples.
You know?
Yeah. Men have nipples. People assigned male at birth have nipples because we are all female.
Mm-hmm.
I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me?
The first 7 weeks of life, I think.
You remember that? You remember that joke? You might remember that joke?
What joke?
I didn't catch it.
Meet the Parents. You know, Robert De Niro. It's like, you know, I have anything with nipples you can milk. He's like, I have nipples, Greg. Can you milk me? Anyway.
All right then.
It was a long time ago, I guess, man. No, man, I thought that was like a commonly known fucking joke. Jeez. Crash and burn here.
You see?
All right.
You see what the comedian was talking earlier, how jokes have a sell by date.
Yeah.
And cultural references are no longer
fucking guy though. That's the thing.
I was a woman that got raped and you told me I had to have a baby, I'd blow my brains out. Like there is no fucking way you will tell me that I'm going to by force without my consent give my body to somebody.
You are telling that that woman who got raped
there is some degree of responsibility.
You have to announce this. You need to follow certain procedures as a victim of a crime. And if you don't, we're going to force you to carry that child to term.
Yes, 100%.
Okay.
There's a responsibility we have as victims of crimes as well. And one of the problems we have in this country is that...
That's an interesting theory.
Well, it's true.
So they talked for a couple hours, I guess, but like really this little 3-minute clip is kind of just... It's kind of just all of it. Like everything is encapsulated in this one little exchange of on this is you know, and if you've ever seen the one from 5 years ago, which I watched that with my girlfriend last night, the whole, you know, you know, you'd be the villain in most Marvel movies or whatever, you know, Thanos, blah blah blah, and Sam's just like, I don't care, I don't care, and that's essentially the vibe of this whole thing too.
Right? If you're a victim and you want accountability and justice,
what if you make the determination that I don't want to go through what is involved with getting accountability and justice, but I also don't want to carry my rapist child. In that scenario, the woman is out of luck, according to you.
If you are not willing to take your responsibilities
the responsibilities that that the rapist has imposed upon you.
Indeed, yes.
By the way, I'm pretty sure there's some states right now, and probably would be increasing if things go badly, that like are giving some rights to the rapist in the sense that they might be able to take you to court and no custody stuff, and like it gets real fucked up real fast with that kind of thing. And I mean, not that rape wasn't fucked up already, because it is.
It's an extra layer of vindictive fuck upness.
And so, like, for him to have this position just in that regard as well is fucking disgusting.
Especially to open the segment with, if I was got pregnant through rape and someone told me I had to carry my rapist baby, I would shoot myself.
And then to turn around and exactly.
Yeah.
But then it literally is this rules for thee but not for me.
Yeah, the Chad Sam Cedar versus the possibly actual literal virgin.
Possibly a real genuine virgin. Yep.
Not that there's anything wrong with being a virgin.
Right. Like he's paid for sex by now. He had to have. Right?
Yeah, being a virgin is not a sin. Being Tim Pool is.
Yes.
That's in the Bible. That I think Saint Peter talks about that. Fact check.
Should we go ahead and establish a rule now that like you can drop out of school and have a popular internet show, sure, but like I don't know, you shouldn't be such a confident dick on it. Is really all there is to it.
Uneducated and stupid are different things. There are plenty of brilliant and intelligent uneducated people in the world. Unfortunately,
I mean, we're not talking about
both
we're not talking about he
uneducated
just
and
didn't go to college or something. We're talking about he dropped out in the 7th fucking grade.
Did he really?
Like, he doesn't understand like the basic structure of like the social norms that you learn in high school that everybody takes for granted that you learn just by doing a couple years of high school, right? He obviously doesn't know that shit. Anyway.
But he could still learn, right? My point was he's both uneducated and stupid.
Yes.
And he can be uneducated.
You can be uneducated and still brilliant and teachable and have raw natural intelligence.
And yet his confidence is that of a fucking actual brilliant person. Except not really, because brilliant people tend to be less confident because they're smart enough to know that they should question their own biases all the time. And he doesn't fucking do that.
Most educated, smart people are smart enough to know that outside of their field of expertise, they are just a dumb layman like everyone else.
Yeah.
And so they won't opine confidently on
who knows everything in every field.
I said smart, educated people. Jordan Peterson is a stupid, educated person.
Well, now, I won't have you besmirching my name.
He is, in fact, one of the dumbest educated people I've ever seen.
Jordan, I've got the apple cider vinegar.
Oh no! Oh no! Gotta get out of here.
By the way,
beef daughter,
if you want a real cringe, like some mega cringe content, look up the debate Jordan Peterson had with Richard Dawkins recently. That was moderated by some other annoying twink of a Reddit atheist type, and it's Dawkins, of course, runs circles around him, but. It's just so cringe-inducing to watch all three of these.
Still talking about being a cultural Christian, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not in that. I didn't see that whole debate, but
cringe.
He may have. I didn't see the whole debate.
If you want to see some shit, just go watch that fucking Pangburn debate with Matt Dillahunty
and
Jordan Peterson, where like you've never seen Peterson out of his element like this, where he's visibly fucking freaking out because he knows that he doesn't have shit compared to.
It's the same way in the Dawkins clip.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd rather direct people towards Dillahunty than Dawkins.
Yeah. Even though Dillahunty was very fucking wrong recently. I don't know if you ever came to, I
don't know what came of that, but
yeah, him and he got into it with Jake and stuff, Jake, the other actual guy. And because he was saying that Project 2025 doesn't indicate or imply transgenocide. Like, come on.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Wouldn't it be nice?
If only that were true.
I mean, this all just adds up to my conclusion that I came to about 5 years ago that Reddit atheism was a mistake.
Well, I mean, but
not atheism in general. Not atheism in general.
Right. But certain, like.
Yeah, that's why I specified Reddit atheism was a mistake, which is what all of these guys are. They were Reddit atheists before there was Reddit atheism.
They're the foundational figures.
The state of being an atheist is fine, and arguing for atheism is fine, but being a Reddit atheist debate bro, which I used to be, is
Same.
cringe.
Well, not Reddit. I was just more on Facebook. I was part of like this group on Facebook that anytime one of those stories would come up, where like, oh, this school is making the kids, acknowledge, some prayer or something, we like would team up and just fucking flock into the comments on some post and just start beating the shit out of the Christians verbally, like a bunch of assholes. But man, we had some fun.
It was. I had fun too, but it has. I think it has limited value, and I don't really identify as an atheist for many reasons, but that's the main one. And I found that it was not conducive to community, to building bridges with communities and creating.
Absolutely not. It's all self-serving. It's all
alliances.
to serve your own ego.
Yeah.
It's like, it's the same thing I see I've said this before. It's the exact same thing I see from online leftists who very obviously just in the last year or so kind of fucking had the realization about what society really is, the same way that atheists, often have. And, like, oh, you just realized recently that this thing that so many people fucking fully believe in, that really actually kind of operates the world, is based on this stuff, is just bullshit. And it's not true. And you're fucking angry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right to be angry about it. You should be angry. We should all be angry about it. But like, you got to process that in a different way and not just like hold on to that anger and start putting your fucking, hyphenated niche political fucking labels in your bio and flags, and then just like pretending like everybody else is not anywhere near as leftist as you, and that kind of thing. Like, it's the same kind of thing. It's get past it, do something productive, get over yourself.
Understand that it is personally shocking, but the scope and scale of it is such that it is not a new problem, and it is not one you're going to solve by throwing a temper tantrum at your allies and or becoming a martyr or making other people martyrs.
Yeah, because the main thing that I had an issue with was that a lot of Reddit atheist types define, without realizing they're doing it, they define the word religion when they're actually only talking about a very specific brand of white American evangelical Christianity.
Yeah.
So they will go into like Twitter spaces and talk to like, I don't know, like indigenous people expressing their animistic spiritual beliefs and treat them like they are a white Christian fundamentalist. They're unable to have a conversation after.
I would push back on that a little bit, because I think a sizable portion of that atheist crowd, their definition of religion was specific flavors of Islam.
Yes.
And they treated Christianity as a default and therefore acceptable.
Yes, that's where the cultural Christian thing comes from.
They would see, we would see, I was part of that at one point. Christianity was like, yes, that's taken for granted. It's so stupid. Anybody even believes that, and they're so stupid. And it's like this mockery kind of thing. But with Islam, there was this scorn, like this extra, kind of layer of fucking just hate. Honestly, it's really the best way to describe it.
Was.
Because you're not familiar with it. It's the thing you don't know. And so you're learning about these things, the book that, did it for me was God Is Not Great, How Religion Poisons Everything by Christopher Hitchens. Probably I would say that it's generally still a pretty good book, like as far as like, but you have to be aware of his particular, how he's pretty brutal.
He has some opinions on Bush's policies that have not held up historically, and he was not pro abortion.
I disagree that it's a good book. I don't agree it's a good book anymore.
Well,
I did
you know what?
time.
You're probably right, man. It's been like, that was literally 2005 that I read that shit. So you're probably absolutely right. It's probably not good.
Yeah.
I just remember like when it came to the fucking removing the delusion from my mind of religion and how it's actually played a pretty big part in pretty much everything. I was not ready for that. I was ready for it obviously because it helped me understand it, but like growing up in the South, even though I was never personally religious, and even when I tried, I couldn't commit to it, and I kind of felt like it was silly, but like it still was a lot taken for granted that book helped me kind of cast off and start to see things a different way. But yeah, I'm certain that it was probably pretty bad in some other contexts.
I think if you want to understand an important thing about the atheist versus religion discussion, is I would look into Imperial Buddhism, because you don't have the cultural context for it more than likely. And the lesson I learned reading about it in a fugue state of getting interested in the Pacific Theater,
Mhm.
is that all right-wing religions are kind of the same.
Yeah.
Right.
That they have,
Patriarchal.
that they
which
have
would
more
mean-
in common with each other than with the moderate and progressive factions of their own religion.
If you're someone
Well, that's what I was
that
going to
feels
say,
like
which is what led me to conclude that the problem isn't religion. The problem is politics.
Right.
Like, you know,
I mean, it's
religious
traditions
belief
of
is
cultural traditions being repeated unquestioningly. I think are just like when you get down to it, what
Yeah.
the issue is. Cast
Yeah,
off
'cause
tradition,
religious
fuck tradition.
religious doctrines are shaped by the material conditions of their societies, and
Mm-hmm.
so when you have a reactionary imperialistic society, you're going to produce reactionary imperialistic religious beliefs that reify that society. It's not the other way around, in my opinion.
If you're somebody who is like I was, and you're like, you still, even though you're like I don't need a God necessarily, but I do feel like there's something that I'm missing that, connecting to, for lack of a better word, I guess some spiritual aspect of the self or whatever. I don't like to talk in those terms because I don't believe in those terms in the way that people tend to talk about them. But like, if you need something, right, like to kind of cushion your fall or to kind of grab onto, I can't recommend any more highly than I'm about to. Brad Warner, he's got a series of books that are fun and educational, and literally he's teaching you some pretty serious shit about how to view the self, while at the same time telling you don't take this shit too seriously. It like the first book is called what is it? Hardcore Zen. So he's a guy he's an American from Ohio, who was in a punk band in the 80s and played bass in a punk band. And then he, went on to move to Japan, lived in Japan for, I don't know, better part of more than a decade, maybe, became an actual Zen Buddhist monk while working on Ultraman.
Nice.
And like, yes, he's got an interesting fucking cool story. He's a fucking nerd. He's a punk bassist, and he's just a guy who, like, yeah, he learned he knows all of the, I think he's actually literally, one of his other job is transcribing old Dogen shit. So like, old ancient Japanese, Zen koans and shit. And so he knows this stuff, but he doesn't tend to talk about it. He'll even tell you like, this really doesn't mean anything. Like, yeah, these words have a certain meaning if you're looking for that meaning, but you don't need these words, kind of thing. You don't need to talk about it this way. You don't need to think about it this way. It's all about how you relate to, ultimately the second book is called Sit Down and Shut Up. And that's what it's all about. That's what I took from it. And that was like really the first step in a long journey that I eventually was on to heal myself and have like a decent, somewhat tidy mind going on. You know what I mean? Where it's not just chaos all the time, like it used to be. And that first step of that was just like sitting down and shutting up and doing mindfulness meditation. So
yeah, and every religious tradition in existence contains that thread of thought. So if you're a person who can't connect to like Buddhist iconography for whatever reason, like say you feel like you're appropriating someone
I'm saying
else's
that you don't
culture.
have to, even with it, like I don't connect to any of that shit. I don't fucking care about. He says the Buddha don't give a fuck about the Buddha. Buddha doesn't require you to fucking worship the Buddha. You know what I mean? It's just and you can see it as just like a myth or whatever you want to see it. Doesn't matter. It's yeah. I mean, I'd say that honestly, the research that I've done, I don't think there's anything besides certain non I guess I don't know what you call it, but like, yeah, Buddhism is not something that requires any kind of real anything,
right?
To get
right.
benefit
That's what I was building up to. Like, there's mindfulness, meditation, and negation of the self. That strain of spirituality exists in some form in every religious tradition, and
the best
every
thing
religious
is it's also
tradition
supported by science.
Yes, and every religious tradition in the world has divisions within it that are compatible with progressive or liberatory politics, and also divisions that are against those things. And so the reason I came out of Reddit atheism was because I realized some of those people are our allies, and we are unnecessarily alienating them by getting on an ego trip and owning the, you know.
Well, and I think that comes
Whatever.
from, you know, a place of trauma. In some cases, it was for me. It's like when you come to these realizations about religion, and like then you think about the harm that it's done to you in your life because people that are super religious or whatever, or appealed to religion that cause harm on you in your life. You're in a self-protective state of that, like you see that just, oh, you're a Christian, you're gonna hurt me, you're the enemy kind of thing. And it's like it's understandable to, you know, like as in it's forgivable to have that impulse to protect the self, but it's also important to recognize that not everybody is going to do that.
Right. So like I phrase it now, I don't use the word religion, I say dogma. Because dogmatic thinking and dogmatic hierarchies produce this kind of behavior in people and those kinds of power structures. And you can find dogma in Marxist movements like Stalinism or Maoism. You can find it in any standard religion. You can find it in cults of personality. So that's what I say now. I use the word dogma rather than religion, because I think there's more going on with religion and spirituality in people's minds than just like needing a support system.
Right.
I'm more of the William James school, that religion emerged because people had religious experiences and wanted to explore them with each other. And that's where organized religion.
We commented on this last time that we had this stuff up. Was we were watching Tim Pool's stuff on the showcast, and that it does look like an iron cross.
It does, yeah.
Brain.
But it's not. It's actually a brand. I mean, it is an iron cross, but it's also a brand for some kind of skate related company.
Tim Pool the kind of guy, and is he clever enough, or thinks he's clever enough, that he might put that there for that specific reason? Because it's just a skateboarding brand. It's, you know, kind of like the OK hand sign, right? Just the OK, you're saying OK, you know, or whatever. Like, yeah, but
does he have a bunch of fucking Magic the Gathering cards back there?
Oh god! I mean, yeah, he's definitely virtue signaling to lots of different types. Like, look, I got an amp, so I play guitar.
I see at Volcanic Island.
It looks like off to his on the screen left there under the skateboard. It looks like he has a little model flying saucer as well.
That's true. Yeah.
I mean, you can have dogma in anything technically, but I mean, like if you're doing dogma in science, you're not really doing science.
Right. Like that's science is not an ideology. Science is a process.
Yeah. That's
ideally.
The whole,
ideally.
Another religion. But yeah, that's not the case. Yeah, I mean, this is it. That's what it's about. And like, honestly, if you want to be religious, you want to find a religion, be part of that. That's good. Community is a good thing, and that's been the thing that has made religion worth it in a way over the centuries. But at the same time, I would say that develop your own self first, and what you, because I think most people know what's right or wrong. Like intuitively, most people know that you shouldn't hurt people and steal. Like it takes religion and people using something like religion to convince you that it is good to hurt somebody.
Well, I mean, I think the word Bob used is really apt for that, which is dogma. You need a system to convince someone to not behave as a social animal, but to instead treat their fellow human as either or often both predator and prey.
Yep. Well, this is pretty good, Fat. So let's come down on our HOPIUM or COPIUM final thoughts on that, because there's obviously other metrics to look at.
Yeah.
I would just say that I and this is just mostly just vibes, but also just kind of like vibes based on observing things. I don't think we have anything to worry about in terms of numbers and the vote count. If it were done fairly, if there were no problems with it, I think we have some worry when it comes to the other angle of it. And that's what I'll say. And I mean, of course, there's always the possibility if Trump wins just by, outright vote numbers, which I don't fucking think that's even possible at this point, to be honest, but maybe it is. But if he wins via electoral college, it's going to be through a very specific path that they somehow saw that they needed to take and did it and executed that very well.
Yeah.
Through the
I think
electoral college.
there's only three possible outcomes. Either Trump barely wins. This is assuming no fuckery, assuming everyone behaves honestly, which they won't, but assuming they do. Either Trump barely wins, Kamala barely wins, or Kamala wins in a decisive victory.
Right.
There's no
And that's the
scenario
one
where
where-
Trump wins so decisively that there's no doubt.
I
That's
think
what I think.
Yeah, I think my prediction is that one way or the other, we're going to have a divided government. I don't think the Democrats are going to hold the Senate. It doesn't seem to be possible.
And that sucks because you would think that that would if especially if Kamala comes out with a very decisive victory, how does that not translate down ballot? I don't know, but
It does. That's what I meant. If she comes out with a decisive victory, we hold the Senate and gain the House. But if she barely wins, we'll have probably a barely Democratic majority in the House and a barely Republican majority in the Senate.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're going to keep the Senate, but
and so I think whatever happens, we're going to have another one of those. If I think Kamala's going to win, and Kamala's going to win. I don't think it's going to be a landslide. I don't even think it's going to be decisive. But I think she's going to win. But expect a Obama era presidency wherein everything she is able to do is through executive action, and the Republicans in the Senate will sit on their hands and do nothing, and do nothing very loudly.
The only thing that we would hope in that case maybe is that they have gotten smarter about how they would present that to constituents for further elections, right? But we'll see how it goes. Nonetheless, this would be funny. I don't think that's really possible, but that would be funny.
That would be very funny, but
what would be even funnier is if Florida goes blue.
Yeah.
Dude,
which is more likely than Texas going
Florida.
blue.
Oh,
and the reason, here's why it will be funny, because Florida, for all of its faults, has a really efficient vote counting system, and they're usually one of the first states to be called for one of the candidate or the other. And if right out of the gate Kamala wins Florida, that's it. There is no path to victory for Trump.
Right. That's
if that happens, we get to spend the rest of election night eating our popcorn and watching the chuds flip out.
Right.
Oh, and searching for what's going to be the replacement for the crying 2016 voter. Because there was one in 2020. I remember it.
Yeah.
It was this guy, and I used him in some thumbnail or some video or something, but it was a guy
I remember
screaming mad, and he was frothing like his mouth, he was just spitting as he was screaming, just some chud. And I wish that people would recognize that when it happens and do the thing, use the fucking thing over and over again.
So my question is,
I remember Kyle Kulinski did a segment on that too, and he was like, okay, leftist memers, this is it. I expect to see this face on every thumbnail of every video for the next 3 or 4 years. And we failed.
Yeah, well, because we're more creative than that. We can tell more than one joke. My question is, who is going to deliver the announcement at Four Seasons Total Landscaping this time?
Oh yeah, which was
the highlight of the election,
which was right next to a dildo emporium,
right next to the dildo emporium. Yep, and the crematorium.
Yeah,
and
oh my god,
Rudy Giuliani had that substance from The Fifth Element leaking down his face.
Right. I thought it was an adult video. Something like that, hon.
I'm looking at. I just searched if you want something that's funny to laugh at, when we get off here, just go to Google Images, type in "screaming MAGA voter 2020." Oh my God, there's a lot more of them than I realized, and it's fun.
Oh yeah.
Okay. I think there is one thing that I think we can all agree on. Elon Musk needs to go to prison for election interference or rather for trying to fucking buy votes, essentially.
I'll do you one better. Elon Musk needs to be divested from his company's involvement in their federal contracts.
Yeah,
he needs to be deported. He's almost certainly an illegal alien.
He is almost certainly an illegal immigrant. Yeah,
we're now learning that his paperwork is shady.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well, imagine that he's a fucking.
He came here on a student visa and didn't go to school.
You know what I think? You know what I think about grifters like that, like him and like fucking even Trump. I don't know that they, like there are grifters that like literally see themselves. They know they're a grifter, right? They're like, I'm grifting. I'm doing a grift right now, right? Like those exist. But I think guys like, especially Musk, is just so privileged and has been so privileged that he doesn't think he needs to do anything that other people need to do. And then in a lot of ways, he's right, because the money allows him to bypass, a lot of things that other people can't. And so he just doesn't fucking worry about his paperwork that much, kind of thing. Whereas anybody else would have to mind their P's and Q's. And then, you just kind of like by effect, you end up with a grifter. I don't know. Just a theory. A grift theory.
A grift theory. Yeah. One more thing before we go, I need to say, as I have said many times this year, this summer, and this autumn, go to vote.org. Make sure you're registered. You may still be able to register in your state. It differs every state. But also, find out where your polling place is and go early. Go as early as you can. Because lines are going to be long. The wait's going to be long. And the fuckery will be intense.
Lots of fuckeries.
So if you did not have the opportunity to vote early, go early on Tuesday. And
I was going to say, if it's still possible to vote early in your state, please do it.
Indeed. And if not, if you haven't voted and you haven't been able to vote and you just plan to or whatever, I don't know, man, maybe next time just get a little ahead of the game. That's all.
Yeah.
What else we got? Real quick, just kind of scanning. Oh, yeah. That's about it.
That's about it.
I'm gonna have in the next couple of days, we're gonna have some content coming out. Got the MAGA violence video going out. Gonna have my January 2nd or January 6th #2 issue review coming out. Gonna have a goddamn the show clips, or sorry, the grift clips compilation, including the new one that was played before this stream, and then some other new ones. So all the grift clips that we have at the initiative and stuff, and some other ones, some less obvious, but like more like debate winning kind of moments in those grift clips. And then I've also learned that if you go to YouTube and you type in grift clips, our grift clip playlist comes up first.
Nice.
That's the fucking foothold, man. And I'm gonna fucking seize on that.
There you go.
So if you can try to let anybody know, hey, you should go check out grift clips. Just type in grift clips on YouTube and watch that playlist.
Rad.
Anybody that might be kind of not aware to the degree which grifting happens and so on and so forth, because all the best moments are contained therein. But that compilation will be up soon too.
Sweet.
As well as some other shit. So and as somebody said earlier, are we going to be replacing Friday night tights with Friday night FAPs? I mean, hopefully, hopefully you don't watch Friday Night Tights, but if you do, then stop and start watching Friday Night FAP.
Yeah, Friday Night Spite streams a lot earlier in the evening than you tend to do,
right?
Because they're working on East Coast time, from what I can tell. Because they're usually streaming when I get off work on the West Coast at like 4:30. So,
well, I guess all there's left to say is goodbye, good luck. We're counting on you. We're all depending on you in particular.
Shanti salam shalom.
What? Yeah, that too. Okay.
Shanti. I said Shanti salam shalom. That means
what
peace in 3 different languages.
I see.
It's Hindu, Arabic, or Hindu's not a language. Sorry, but whatever the language is in India is Shanti, and then salam is Arabic and shalom is Hebrew. They all mean peace.
Let's see. You know what's funny is Morgan, did you see the end of the Sitch and Adam show? Apparently, that was pretty fun. Yeah, so
that would involve me caring about who those
plan. I'm gonna look and see if this is still the case with this here. But like these motherfuckers, can't get enough of this. So they had this guy on that was debating that Trump actually is a fascist, an authoritarian, and Adam, being somebody who is voting for Trump, was saying no, he's not. He's not. authoritarian or whatever. Sitch, I think, was kind of just doing his normal centrist kind of thing, but like, apparently they finally just reached an impasse in terms of the content and their perspectives on these things. Because at one point, Adam did appeal to the idea of centrism and not just, he actually did admonish Trump at different points in the past, and now he's just like, you got to vote for Trump or Kamala's going to kill the country or whatever.
Okay. So if Donald Trump believes that is the situation and he is doing the prudent thing, he's not an authoritarian. He's delusional.
Okay, so
there's a
Hitler
difference.
wasn't an authoritarian.
The argument being, he's not an authoritarian. He's delusional, which means it's okay, and I'm going to vote for him.
That's as bad, if not worse.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's. Look. I'll be honest. I'll say this. I've gotten way better on the R slur because I feel like if I'd seen this like 6 months ago, I would definitely be dropping it.
Yeah.
So, good test. Thank you, Adam, for that.
Because he actually thought the Jews were coming after them, right? Yes.
I'm not going to litigate World War II or whether or not Hitler was delusional to make your point. That's like bad faith. That's bad faith
it's
as
not
fuck.
because it's not bad faith at all. You're saying that just because they believe it's happening, that it's no longer authority.
He muted him.
I'm sorry, Sitch.
What the fuck?
He's making a bad faith argument. I'm not going to.
No. Wait. This is not a bad faith argument.
It is a total bad.
No. Hold on.
I'm not here to litigate. World War II.
Wait. Okay, this is what you do have to litigate, right? You're basically making the argument that delusion is a defense against everything in terms of negative intention or being labeled as an authoritarian.
He's right.
That is the argument that you're making.
It's not.
Okay, so you agree that someone
you agree that there's a difference between someone who's delusional and someone who's authoritarian, right? This person could be the nicest person in the world. If they're delusional and acting on a delusion.
But this is what happens when you don't distinguish intent and effect. Because it doesn't fucking matter what is going on in Trump's brain. It really doesn't. It fucking doesn't matter.
Well, and once again, Trump is a symptom of the disease. Right. He is not the disease.
Yes, they're not an authoritarian. They're doing the right thing. You literally agree with what he said.
No, hold on. Are you saying that someone who suffers from a delusion cannot be authoritarian? Because that's what you're saying.
No, I am not.
So give me an example of someone who is delusional and authoritarian by your definitions of these words.
I don't. That's not my argument.
That is your. That's the question. Is that you're saying Donald Trump is not authoritarian because he's delusional.
Someone who is an authoritarian is acting imprudently. They know that they're acting imprudently. They know that they lost the election, and they don't give a fuck. They're like, fuck
if
the
they
system,
know they're
fuck the
acting
rules.
imprudently,
It doesn't matter.
They do it. They
I'm an
probably have a
authoritarian.
reason to do it.
I am the law. I am the state. That's an authoritarian.
Just wait,
you agree?
So the best part's coming
agree.
out.
No. Authoritarian is just someone who doesn't have respect for the laws, the Constitution, and was willing to sacrifice all those things in favor of what they want or believe.
Okay, then we're using
society.
completely different definitions of authoritarian.
Yeah, but so again, as I asked you, under your definition, you are saying that someone cannot be delusional and authoritarian.
Someone can be delusional and authoritarian, obviously.
Okay,
obviously.
So give me an example. So what does that look like?
Saddam Hussein mistakenly executes 50 of the wrong people because he thinks they're conspiring against him because he's delusional.
Why is that authoritarian?
Okay, so in a moment you're going to hear Adam's brilliant, this is most fucking excellent argument. It's honestly, you can't even counter this shit.
Yeah,
because he is the law. He can do whatever he wants.
No, but so like what part of that? So the authoritarian part is the executing the people without trial. Is that the authoritarian part? I'm trying to ask you. I'm trying to figure out this distinction here.
Hit it with him, Adam.
Look, I'm done with this. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm literally done with you.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Boom. Got him. We fucking got him.
Are they
from now
breaking
on.
up? Is their bromance over?
I'm trying to find right now what the last most recent. So like, it doesn't seem like there's been any obvious update. But so at the point that I first covered this was on the showcast last week.
Sure.
And that was Wednesday, and an hour we had started the showcast an hour after this had taken place, and he had still not returned to the stream.
Oh wow.
So, and I'm looking right now, and I'm seeing the same Reddit post. Maybe if I look at that from that it came out pretty much right when that happened, somebody will have updated whether or not. But I mean, I'm seeing posts about how he rage quit his own show 2 days ago. I don't know how accurate that is, but yeah,
cognitive dissonance, baby. It's a bitter pill to swallow. He just realized how full of shit he was.
That's amazing.
I mean, because like I said before, I'll say it again. I am perfectly okay with PSA Sitch having a show. I haven't talked to the guy. I believe that he's sincere. I believe he's, as someone described the other day, audience captured. So he's smart enough probably to have moved from some of the positions he still clings to, except that he's got an audience with those positions. So he's not going to move from them. And I think that's a trap that a lot of people can fall into making content.
Sure.
And talking to him, he was actually pleasant to argue with. He was pleasant to argue with, for the most part. It was Adam that I did not fucking enjoy. I've never enjoyed any interaction or anything I've ever seen from that fucking guy. And I hope that he goes back to making art, because he does have some decent art on his website that's not culture war shit as far as I can tell. Just do that, man. Because you suck, that you're too stupid for this shit. So just don't go back to this. That's it. I'm gonna look on their subreddit real quick and see what I see. If anybody else has any updates, please let us know.
He's on suicide watch.
I'm looking at the chat next to him, and some of them are like dragging him too.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Oh, wow. Okay. So, let's see. Is there not actually a fucking Sitch and Adam thing? What's the deal here?
Well, do they have a YouTube channel? Just check that. See if they've done any more recent content.
I wasn't the only one on the stream. I would. Give me a second here.
All right,
I mean,
I gotta get going because it's getting pretty late here.
Okay, yeah. By the way, thank you both for being here and being willing to do one last Sunday FAP with me.
Yeah.
And hopefully you guys will have a lovely week as well. And maybe if you see me on sometime this week, just doing a stream you didn't know I was going to do, which I might, feel free to hop in.
Woo.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And,
Roger,
with that in mind, and with that, everything, who we haven't heard from in a while?
Who's that?
Jordan Peterson.
Hey, Dave, time to turn on your Jordan Peterson voice. I don't know, Jordan Peterson, what you got to say about that?
What was the question?
Can't afford medical bills. Have you tried not being sick? You should.
Well,
should...
only people with weak moral character get sick.
Yeah.
If you get sick, it's your own fault.
Pretty iconic.
It's a tightrope. It's a fine line. You start with Kermit, but you kind of have to do. I can't even describe what it is, but you got to, nudge it one way or the other a little bit to get the right Peterson.
If you're sick, maybe you should try eating exclusively meat like we did in the 50s and a good glass of milk.
The one thing you don't want to do is drink apple cider.
You will have you will have a depressive breakdown that will destroy you for weeks.
The next thing you know, you'll wake up and your daughter has put you in a coma in Russia. If I can't be a misogynist to you, I don't know what to do with you. Mr. Peterson, how many people have gone to prison based on Bill C-16? Up yours, woke moralist. We'll see who can for whom.